Welcome to episode 5 of the FD podcast. Today we have the most requested guest we've had. I apologise if some of your questions can't be read out because it's literally been absolutely manic on the DMs on both accounts. So we have Mrs. Nadine Lamby in the house. Probably one of the most dramatic transformations you can find. Mind, body, soul. And we're going to delve into a little bit of it today. And I'm going to start with one that I think amalgamates about 20 of your questions, which is, what was the point which made you want to start to change your mind and your body?
So for me, it was the first lockdown, like it just did me in. Like, because I've got ADHD and I'm on the go 24/7, I sort of just stopped, couldn't do anything. So all I did was drink and eat. And I think that's what got me, because when I come out of lockdown at the other side, I just felt, right, enough's enough, felt minging, didn't like myself, and I'm a person who wears oversized clothes anyway, but all my oversized clothes was looking tight, and I thought, right, no, you've got to go. And then I just, from that day forward, I told myself I was going to run 5k every day. I mean, I couldn't do it for the first couple of weeks, but I still got up. I ran as far as I could, and then I walked the rest, and literally I've never stopped since. So
a lot of people ask me, because obviously lockdown destroyed a lot of people's relationships, finances, family units and things. But so on the picture on the left, because a lot of people obviously don't understand, and I don't understand how they don't, is a lot of people don't share the worst pictures, because you're not. And obviously people have seen the picture on the far left of the three. What kind of time frame was that? Was that kind of before, after lockdown? Or?
So that was literally the end of the first lockdown.
Yeah.
And then we went into the second lockdown, and I was adamant that I wasn't sitting around just because obviously with having ADHD, like I've got to be at something.
Yeah.
I've got to be like locked into something. So second lockdown, just trained every day, and then set up a new business, which was at the time it was wig training, and I just smashed that every night. I used to do a night shift every night doing that, so that was keeping my mind occupied, and then in the day just literally training non-stop. So from the end of the first lockdown until now, that's when that's the difference in the pictures. So that's about just over 3 years.
3 years ago, yeah. So with the ADHD and the fact you had to be doing something, what you've kind of described, because obviously you're a mum of 2.
Yeah.
You had a business, you started another one, you started this fitness kick. A lot of people have messaged and said, how do you stay motivated? What motivated you? You've kind of just described going into the deep end and having to and wanting to do that.
Yeah.
What made you? Because some people will say, oh, well, I don't want to get up early, or, my job makes me finish at 6 p.m. You're just describing a 24-hour period. What made you okay with just what I believe for the last 3 years I've seen with you is just working hard every day, constantly?
I just didn't like where I was at. I didn't like anything. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't like how I felt. So I thought, why not? Let's just give it a go all in. And that's it. Literally after a couple of weeks, it was hard for the first week or two. Hated every minute of it. But then I started to feel better. I started, just everything about me just felt good. So I just stuck at it and then got better and better and better.
And a lot of people don't understand, I think, how internally motivated you are, because we get, I'd say 25% of the questions are, how did you stay motivated? And I said to someone last night, I said, I've never on my daughter's life, my son's life, seen a day when you told me you wanted to slow down or stop. But so when you had this new business launching, you had your business, you were out of shape, and obviously being out of shape for a start is a hard place to start from. Everyone thinks you started from now. You're 5'10", you were already skinny. So while you were doing all this, and obviously it's hard, and you're running another business, and you've got your kids, what would you say to people is 1 or 2 things you could teach them that kept you going? Apart from obviously the disdain for the way you looked. Because it must be, some people say to me, okay, for instance, how did you get up every morning, tired from obviously working the night shift?
I don't know, just set myself some goals and just crushed them really, and just said I wouldn't stop until, I don't know, I can't really think of an answer for that.
No, because this is the thing I'm trying to get across to people. This is what the answer I wanted to hear. Because for instance,
so basically I knew I wanted to change, and the only way for me to change was to get up and get at it, and if I didn't, then I was staying in the same place.
So basically the way you looked every day motivated you to get up and keep going.
Yeah,
and it still does.
Yeah, 100%. Like you always say before and after, but there is no after. Like there's before and just during the whole process, because there's never going to be an after, because I'm just going to keep going because the goals are going to change, and I'm just going to get more motivated, more disciplined.
So this is again the reason I wanted to start with that one, is because I really think a lot of people's questions are all linked to the same part of this story. So if I said to you now, obviously everyone loves the way you look, you're in incredible shape 24/7, because you don't think you're done, that's what gets you up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, definitely 100%. Like,
do you need anyone to people say to me, I've never had to tell you to get up.
No, but I feel like I've got myself so many good habits now. Like this routine will stay with me forever.
So what is your, to give someone an idea of just a typical couple of days in Nadine's life?
Right, so it just depends. So I will get up at 4, sometimes 4:15. Sometimes I'll meditate, sometimes I won't. It just depends how I feel. Straight to the gym, train till 7.
No food?
No food.
You
fasted,
prefer it?
Everything fasted, yeah. All I'll have is a pre-workout.
Because a couple of questions are, how do you cope with being hungry and tired when you wake up?
Oh, no. I don't
just don't care?
No.
Yep.
No. Literally, my routine is strict. Come home at 7 o'clock, then I'll sort the kids out, school run, and I'll either go to work or do what I need to do.
And then what kind of time's bedtime when this all ends? Because obviously you've got another brand which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, so I'm normally asleep. I'm normally in bed for about 9:30, 10 o'clock once the kids go to bed, and then anywhere between 10 and 11 I'll go asleep. But I know that's not a long amount of sleep, but I've got used to it now.
Yeah,
and with me, because I've got ADHD, I don't need a mad amount of sleep, but I still get a solid 6 hours.
Yeah, and then also, I say to a lot of people, it works for you now in what you need to do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was hard at first. I didn't want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. If anything, I absolutely hated it. I used to put my alarm on the landing and get up, star jumps, and then get changed, get gone, and I hated it.
Let me pause you there. So you're saying you didn't want to get up and you hated it. None of us like it. So you put your alarm clock on the landing.
Yeah.
And you got yourself moving to make sure you didn't go back to sleep.
Yeah, exactly that.
So talk me through that.
And then I used to buy myself a new gym set all the time, because I knew if I looked good, I'd feel better and I'd get out of bed. That was what motivated me the most. The first couple of weeks, that's all I did.
So let's fast forward, because I think people have got the idea that you're so linked to being better that you didn't need it. Because I say to people, when people message me 2 weeks in, they go, Scott, I lacked motivation this week, and I send them their start pictures back, and I'm like, I'm not being rude, but I am. If that were me, you couldn't get me out of bed fast enough to change.
You can lack motivation, of course you can, but you just got to be disciplined with it and push yourself. And I feel like the days, some days I really can't be arsed. I really genuinely can't be arsed, but I just get up and push myself, and they're the best days I find. If I don't want to train a certain day,
feel good for
I'll go in, but I can go in the gym and think, I don't fancy it today, and then bang, smash a workout, come out, best workout ever, and then smash today. And it just depends. You just got to be disciplined constantly and be dead consistent with it.
And was there a point where we'll go back to where you started with me, but in this initial journey where you're running or you're trying to run the 5Ks, you're getting up, was there a point when you kind of started to feel like you were turning a corner, that it wasn't as hard as it was, that you could see results coming?
Yeah, it did take a bit longer. It took a good 6 to 8 weeks of me running to even be able to run a 5K, if I'm honest. I struggled to run a bath before I started running. So I used to do.
And what stopped you then? Because a lot of people will look and go, well, I quit when it got hard. Why didn't you, Nadine, quit? Because you're saying, I couldn't run, but I kept running. What made you keep running?
And because if I stopped, I was just going to look the same as when I started. What's the point? I would have lost them 8 weeks where I've really, really tried. So I may as well just carry on. And
do you think that's, again, because I'll go on to business and things later, do you think that's something people lack, is the fact that it wasn't necessarily coming fast, but you knew if you stopped, it would never happen?
Yeah, I do think that's the thing with people. I think it's going to happen overnight, or because it doesn't happen fast enough, they just quit with it. But I've got businesses me anyway, so I know. This
is the thing.
So I know how long it takes.
Yeah.
When I set up Weaves and Waves, I set myself a goal for 10 years,
10
a 10-year goal. And to be fair, smashed it in about 3 or 4, but my goal was over 10 years. And again, with my hair brand, that was again over 5 or 6 years. We smashed that in 2 or 3, but I feel like you've got to set yourself a goal, and then you just got to chip away at it every single day. If you've not got the goal there, you're not going to do it, I don't think. If there's, but then you can't concentrate solely on a goal either. You've got to literally get up and put the work in.
Like a day-by-day thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of people tell me, they will say to me, they say, Scott, how long has she been doing this? And I'm like, 2.5 years with me. And they kind of pause. I don't get the messages come in quickly, and then they stop. And I say to them, well, how long did you think this took? And I'll be honest, and I don't need to blow smoke up your arse, it's been 100% every day, every year for those years. So when someone looks at that goal, because obviously there'll be people on here who don't have your business skills, don't have the ability that you have to grind, how would you give them advice to almost learn it? Because what you're saying is, I knew it was going to happen overnight, but I knew I had to keep going, and whatever the distance was, the day-to-days would add up.
I'd just say you just need to be patient and just give 1% extra every single day. I've got this new rule now because it's easy for me to get up, it's easy for me to go to the gym, it's easy for me to train because I'm so used to it. My habits are just set like that now. I do a 1% better every day. Like literally, that's my rule now going forward. 1% better every day. 1% better in business. 1% better working on myself. Just literally with everything. And I feel like that pushes me more to be better than yesterday.
And here's something that again flows nicely is a lot of people say to me, for instance, I'll say to you, we need to stick to this routine for 6, 8, 12 weeks. And we've had conversations recently, obviously Nadine's 5'10". It's harder to grow glutes when you're taller, centre of mass, long femurs, long leg lengths, so I say small hips. And she'll say, how long? And the first thing she'll say to me is, what will it take me? 2, 3 years? So you see, instantly she understands it's going to be an arduous process where and I feel like you might know this but not know this, where for me and everyone like me, it's knowing that if we fucking do it for 2 years, it's there and it's there for life. So when someone says to me, oh, why aren't we changing after 2-3 weeks? And they tend to be pissy. What made you just instantly understand that if I said to you, we're not changing diet for 4 weeks, you went, right, cool. Because you did, literally. I say this to people, not blowing smoke.
Because what we'd done previously works. So if it's working, why change it?
Yeah.
And
do you think that's because you've got these business successes, and we'll go on to 28 and why that was born? Because I find that some people who are new to fitness don't have anything to draw upon. For instance, you've said with your hair brand, you gave yourself a 10-year goal, you smashed it in 2.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But even 2 years is, I get people asking me about businesses, and I say, well, this took me 4, this took me 5. Like, oh, they want whatever reason they're doing business, they want it quick. Do you think that's the mistake? Is thinking it's going to happen so quick? So thinking that it's basically going to happen overnight, and it's not. But then I think just nobody, like hardly anybody's got patience to wait and to put the work in. Do you know what else it is? I feel like you'll look through Instagram and you'll see all these people who are smashing life, and you want to be as fast as you can to get to that, and you forget like they're 2-3 years ahead of you. Forget, scrap other people like that. That was my downfall at the beginning. I used to look at people and think in business. So like hair brands, I'd look at hair brands. I was on year 1, they were on year 10, and I'd look and I'd think, oh, why am I not selling that many parcels a day? And it used to piss me off, and I'd think, but then I'd forget that's their year 10, this is my year 1. So that brought me back to myself, and just to do it at your own pace, but make sure you're giving that 1% extra every day. Your 1% might not be as good as someone else's 1%, but as long as you're putting that extra 1% in, you're obviously going to be better in a year's time. 360 times better, aren't you? Really? Yeah. And I always say this, and I said this to you, and I said to him, time passes anyway.
Yeah, so, exactly. So you may as well do it, aren't you? Otherwise, you're staying in the same place forever. You're not a trig.
Yeah. And a lot of people say to me, they say, well, how did you do it with businesses, 2 kids? Did you find that necessarily something that held you back, or did you know you just had to be better with your routine, better with your habits? Because you are someone who's literally like, this is happening now, here, I have to do this here, take the kids here, I'm in work for this, my mum does this.
Yeah, once I set my mind something, it goes that way. So literally, like with work, once I set my mind on something, I'm going for it. The same with fitness. So what I think a strict routine is definitely what you need.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Like if I don't have my routine in the morning, my whole day does not go to plan.
Yeah,
at
snap.
all. Like, never ever. So I think you need to set a strict routine and just stick at it and just don't give up. There's so many people who'll do like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, and I'll look and I'll think, oh, you're doing amazing or whatever. Then boom, straight fall off the wagon. What's the point?
Yeah.
You're just about to crack. Get some good habits. Stick at it. Because then you go back to square one. Then you've got to build up them full 5 weeks again. So you're going through the hard every single time. Break through the hard, and it becomes easier. I've learned that though with work, mate. That's what I've learned.
Because you had you at least knew that. It's called the beta region paradox. It's the paradoxical situation where going into something new is going to be harder than staying where you are. But ultimately, when you go through the hard part, it then gets easier, but you have to go through the hard part. So one question we get asked a lot is, what did you find hardest on any parts of this journey? What were the hardest things originally? You've said, obviously, you smashed getting up.
So at the beginning, it was like, I have such bad food habits, Meg, you wouldn't believe. Like, multi-bags of crisps a day. You've never seen anyone eat more multi-bags of crisps than me, I'm telling you now. And alcohol. So I knew that my food habits was bad, so I was really scared to be on plan, if I'm honest, like, to psych myself up. And I think that's why at the beginning went a little bit off the rails.
So what happened at the beginning? Because people often think, like with Alana and everyone, that it was plain sailing from day one and you're this world motivator straight away.
So, like, my diet, it wasn't too bad. Like, I felt like I got that under control straight away. But mine was my drinking. And I remember I used to just drink on a weekend. And then one day I checked in and said, however much, I've lost £2, got pissed on the weekend, got pissed at the races, but I've lost £2. And then, boom, all hell broke loose. And I was just fucking about all the time, wasn't I? And then you just ended up saying that's it. But
I say to people, you didn't like that, and I didn't like doing it, but I could already see your potential because you'd done.
I'm so glad you did, because if you didn't do that, I'd have just carried on.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have like put my all in. So for you doing that, literally give me a massive kick up the arse to say, like, look, all or nothing, stop being a dickhead, get stuck in. And I have every day since then. And
yeah, and I say this to people after that, it's just been, because a lot of the questions are, you know, how often have you fallen off the wagon, you know, when do you do this? And I say to people, never.
No,
and I think people mistake the last year of where you have been able to go out, eat this, eat that, but they don't realise you've been in shape. But I'll always ask you
first though as well. I will always ask and say, like, can I have an off plan, or do you think it would be okay if you have one here or there? But that, not for the first, God, I bet you the first 8-9 months, I bet you I didn't.
Easy.
Did I?
No.
And I think the fitter you get, the more you're changing yourself, the more you don't want to have one. I didn't want to, mate, at all. Literally.
One of the questions is actually, they're like, do you ever have cheat meals, or are you on plan? And I've said to people that I'm going to ask you what your interpretation is of the plan, because like you just said then, it's not a plan to you anymore, is it?
No, it's just a lifestyle now. And yeah, I do still go out for family meals and stuff like that, but that is literally it. Like, my day to day is just, I eat what I eat. I don't even see it as like people call it a diet. It's just healthy food. It's not a diet. I don't think it's just a lifestyle now, and I'll never ever go back to any of them old eating habits. If I eat out, I don't really like eating out, and if I do, my eating habits change when I go out.
And that's what a few questions people have asked me is, you know, how do you now attach yourself to off-plan food, drink? Because obviously a lot of people have said, you know, they've asked a question and continued it on DM and said, if I looked like her, I wouldn't want to fuck it up. So how do you feel, obviously, looking like you do? Because no one can argue that the way you look must motivate you to do what you do. Yeah,
and it pushes me more to get, because obviously I'm not where I want to be. What was the question? Sorry.
Just about how do you view cheat meals? Is it even, because obviously I've said to people, she eats 3,000 plus calories. For her to eat a burger, chips, go on the wine, it's an infinitely small part of her daily food. She's already in ridiculous shape.
Like, if I'm hungry and I really, really want something, and like, I never ever get hungry, to be fair, because of how much I'm eating. But if I go out and I see like a bit, which I don't, but if I went out and seen like a burger or I wanted a McDonald's, then I'll get one. But but now I get to the point where I think, I know I'm going to feel shit when I've ate it.
Yeah.
So what's the point? So, but if I want to, then I will. But I never get to that point anymore. I don't want to.
And how long do you think it took you to start viewing, like we all do, that there's a bigger position for you than just looking at Burger King and McDonald's and pizza and thinking, that's what I'm doing this for? How long do you think it took you really to think?
Do you know,
because
it took me quite a long time, you know, Scott, like, because I'm 24/7.
You are foodie, aren't you?
Oh, 24/7. I just
Loads
think
of
of
people are
food.
foodies.
Like 24/7 think of food. So I feel like a good year. Like I had to proper double down for a good year to literally try and force myself to like enjoy better food and not want to go and just scram McDonald's and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But it probably took me longer than most people because all I think about is food. Whereas now, I do think about food still, but it's everything what I have on plan. Like, I don't ever go off of what I eat either, do I? So I'll have I tend to stick to the same foods constantly now, don't I? Even when my plan changes.
But you found food you like in the plan.
Yeah, that's
For
what I mean.
instance,
So that's what I like. So to me, that is my food. Like, I don't feel like I need to go off of that because that is what I enjoy eating. It's everything what I enjoy, obviously, except for when we do a cut or...
Well, this is one thing I wanted to jump to. So a question I get asked by a lot of people is when you will put up... Now, I'm from an ex-athlete background, so we were taught that if you moaned about what you ate, you weren't a real athlete. And whether that's toxic or not, it works for millions of athletes. So when you would say to me, give me a diet that gave me a result, I would say, and you'd say back, I'd say, you probably won't like this. But never did you say, well, I won't do it. Whereas I would say, and no offense to all of you out there, 99% of people go, even if I said to them, you'll be in sicker shape if we can stick some egg whites in, a bit of fish in here, there, they'll say, no, can't do it. You did it, ate it, may have hated it, but why did you still do it?
Because I knew that was going to be a big change at the end, and it was mental for me. Like, I like that mental push, like to really push myself, because I like to see how far I can push myself. And I know what I'm going to look like at the end of it, because if I look okay to start, then how can I not eat these foods for the next couple of days and not look better? Do you know what I mean? Nothing's
better than hearing you say, I can't fucking eat 6 eggs again. No. And then you eat 6 eggs again and people go, how did she eat 6 eggs? I went, but you're missing out the actual picture. The picture is this woman is so motivated to get to an end result, she doesn't care in essence what she eats within reason to get there, because it's only a short term.
Yeah, exactly.
And do you think that comes from business? Because obviously everyone should know that whatever your business is, you won't fucking love every day. You won't love having to do 300% more stock and worry if it's going to come back in. So do you think your business success allowed you to be like, do you know what? I don't love this, but for a period, I'm just going to fucking do it.
Yeah, I think it's just from everything. Like, so I've had it hard, made from like being about 17, 18.
So this was going to be my next question.
Yeah, so go on.
Obviously, everyone can talk as deep as they want. So tell people, just as much as you want to tell them, on how you gained the resilience that you've got.
Well, so when I was younger, I think I got throughout me when I was about 16, 17. Nothing to do with my parents. Like, my parents, amazing. Just an ADHD kid, wild, never stuck to the rules. And I just basically learned life the hard way from there on in, really. And I think because I've lived in my car, because I've lived in hostels and stuff like that, like, I just feel like because I've had it hard, I know you've got. I don't.
Do you think?
Take it. You've got it until I don't even know how to word it.
Do you think what I think the challenge is? Do you think this shit is easy compared to what you've really been through?
Yeah, it's like a walk in the park to me. This.
And I do think that a lot of people, and I said this to a client this morning when she was talking about eating a certain veg for the week and things, and I just, funny enough, I'm going to do a shout out later for a charity shout. One client's come back, said, oh, sorry, I couldn't renew. I don't know why they say sorry, it's up to you what you spend your money on, because she's now in a hostel with her kids eating our food banks. So obviously, I'm no hero. I said, look, train for free, blah, blah. But I said to this client, I asked her, and she's eating the same food she hates for 6 months now for her kids. And I said, and you're moaning about broccoli for a week. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have broccoli but the essence of moaning about it as if it's a first world problem. So do you think that being in a hostel, sleeping in your car, do you ever look back on the way you've managed to turn your life around? And obviously, notwithstanding anybody, you motivate thousands of people. Do you think you call upon that and be like, fucking fish for a week is piece of piss? Yeah,
I think because I've hit rock bottom. I've hit rock bottom about 3 or 4 times for me, I'll be honest. But I think hitting rock bottom, I think anything once you've hit rock bottom is a piece of piss. And I know that you've got to get any kind of result, you've got to literally push through them hard times. And I just think over the last, like, mostly the last 2 years, I've had a couple of dips here and there, and I feel like I've learned that when it becomes hard, push harder, and then and because you know that what's coming at the other side of it is going to be worth it. And I'll be honest, like, the last 2 years has been that up and down, and I've noticed that every time it becomes really, really hard for me, whether it's physical, mental, whatever, I just need to push that a little bit harder, and then I see the results of whatever it is. And I've just been like that for the last 2 years, and I've learned to, like,
lean into
it. Like, I used to absolutely hate it, whereas now when something hard comes, I think, yeah, come on, helmet on, let's go, bang, butt straight through it, and then into the next. Whereas I was never mentally that strong. Like, it's took me years to build it up, but mostly since I've been working on myself the last 2 years, that's when I've literally built it up, if you get what I mean.
And for people who don't realise, this isn't for the camera. She's told me umpteen times in the last 28 months now, that this hard time's coming. I'm just going to push through. I'm going to train harder. And funny enough, this is what I tell some people, and whether you like it or not, I think it's contrived. She'll message me at the hardest times, go, give me a harder diet, give me a more ruthless training plan.
Yeah, I need that.
But why? And I say this to people because people ask me about certain things, and I say to people, you got to feel the hard times and sit in it. You know, I've slept in my car 14 years ago. I was nearly homeless at one point when I fucked businesses up, and that was the best time that I found myself.
I feel like I need something to focus on me, especially when it's like a hard time or whatever. So I feel like if I go harder on myself, harder on my diet, basically go in on myself, it sort of like pulls you through them times, and the reward, what you feel at the end of it, is just mega. Like, I chase that, mate.
And do you think that's the problem with a lot of people? Do you think they're too soft?
Yeah, I do think a lot of people are spoon-fed, or they want spoon-feeding anyway. 100%. I do think that, and I think there's getting more and more. Like, I hope, like, when my kids and that get older, that they're not like 80% of the people now, because I feel like so many people do want spoon-feeding.
Because you get more DMs than me about you, even though I tell people, you know, she's not the coach, so it's kind of like it's a hard graft for you answering all those DMs. But we'll talk about it, and we will. I talk to all my staff about it, all my great friends, as Nadine is now, and we talk about how soft people are on the plan, and they want to be you, but they couldn't walk a day in your shoes, and you just touched on it. And what would you say to people who, because people want what diet you do, what training you do? I tell people,
but do you know what? I feel like this is why I share as much as I can on my page for the motivation, because I know that it's hard. Like, when I first started, it was solid, but I know some people haven't got my motivation, so that's what made me start posting my journey, and like posting every day, and I have inbox off people every day, and I try and help as many as I can to keep them motivated, because I know that sometimes people who haven't, say, like, because I've been on rock bottom and I know it's hard, some people haven't, and they need that kick up the arse, so I try and use my platform for that.
So say somebody messages you and like you would me, and you know, you'd send me a picture in the morning, you'd go, look at my fucking hips, look at my belly, especially at the start when you hadn't lost 3 stone.
I still do that.
Yeah. But again, like I said to people, she's probably more driven now to perfect what most people think is their end goal.
Yeah,
because
I'm mad
she's
now.
built up the mindset of, you know, someone asked me the other day when I put a picture, why do you still train hard at 43? I said, because my goal is still be Arnold Schwarzenegger since I was 18, and I'm not, so I won't stop ever. Do you think people see you and they don't think you go through the same struggles they do?
If anything, Scott, I'm worse now. I'm so picky. I am so picky. Like, I don't know how I was so out of shape and I wasn't bothered. Like, I genuinely mustn't have been bothered, because now
do you think your life wasn't revolved around this kind of mentality?
And I think,
because obviously everything I would say, sorry, but and you're nothing like the first girl I met 2 years ago.
Oh God, no.
And I think that's, and I said this to a lot of people, you need to, someone messaged me this morning, a lady, and said, and this is just an example, I finally left my abusive husband, Scott. And another woman messaged me yesterday and said, I've just left the NHS, all the bullying. And I said to people, if you want to get where you're not, you probably will need to change everything about you.
Yeah. Do you know what was hardest for me? Like, the mental change. Like, I didn't think that you could. I knew, obviously, as you change on the outside, I didn't know that you change on the inside, and that was probably the hardest for me, having to, because I'm a person who's just brushes everything under the carpet, or like pushes everything away, like, don't sit with myself, don't do anything like that. And over the last, like people on my Instagram will know, because I've looked like I've had bipolar me for the last year, up and down, up and down, up and down.
But you know, I think that's natural. The internal fight with ourselves is the hardest one.
Yeah, definitely. And I've learned to like sit with myself. I do so much like breath work, so much like a silent time to myself, and I feel like that has been like my biggest like change. I know my body's changed loads, but I feel like mentally, wow, so strong.
And do you
I
think
feel
like
it's through that.
The times you go do Rivy Pike, the times you go off and sit in places on your own, do you think people are scared to do that alone time?
Yeah, like I was so scared at the beginning. Like I genuinely had to practice that, just like I did with my getting up in the morning and running. I had to do exactly the same and practice sitting with myself, practice silence, practice breathing, and then the more I did it, the more I enjoyed it, the more I could start to see change in myself. Everything's just a practice, but then people will do it once, twice, and then stop. What's the point? You're not gonna see it, you're not gonna benefit from it at all unless you're consistent. Say it's just like anything else.
And what do you think the hardest part of this internal change you're talking about is? Because people will be listening and going, do you know what? I need to get out there and do breath work, meditate, sit on my own, go through some hardships, but I'm scared to start. Is there any way you would say start, or just pick something and... Because you kind of did all yours in one huge organic globule. It was like you changed your body, changed your mind, sat on your own, started another business, already had businesses, were already a mum. It's like you just threw shit at you.
I feel like I would never have done all this if I hadn't started training. So I feel like get up, get active first, and then I feel like that just sort of follows and flows anyway. But I'm so strict with my routine. So I get up, I'll do my goals every morning, do my affirmations every morning, do my breath work every morning, and I feel like that just sets me up for the day as well. And
some people will still look at this and they'll be like, oh well, you know, she's obviously gifted at and doing it. Do you still find things hard? Do you still have to think another level, another day, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. And if it's not hard, I'll make it hard.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no point. I'm staying still.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to stay still. Just want to keep moving forward.
And do you think that's something that you would... Because I think a lot of people get comfy quick and they don't want the next change. It's not that I say this to people because I'm blessed to have a business oversubscribed 10 times over, and people say, do you think I should renew? And I say, unless you're where you want to be.
Yeah, just get out your comfort zone in everything what you do. Like, this is out my comfort zone massively, doing this today, just like the photo shoot is in 2 weeks. Massively out my comfort zone.
But you're doing it.
Yeah, I did have thoughts of dropping out, but yeah, just think, get out your comfort zone. You'll be so great. You'll thank yourself so much at the end. But don't just sit still. So many people just sit still, or they start and never finish. What's the point? I can't register with people who do that.
And this is why I try and tell people, I'm like, do you think that Nadine in the picture on the left would have understood what you're saying now?
What do you mean?
Because you're saying that you can't resonate with people that start and stop and
no,
don't
but
see
on
it
that,
through.
even on that before picture in business, I knew that I could do it because I've done it in my business two times over on that picture. Yeah. So I knew that if I put my mind to it and put a couple of years to it, that I could do it. But I just knew how bad my eating habits was, if you know what I mean. So I knew that food was the last bit, like, out of everything. So my goal in life was set up business, have children, then sort myself out last, if you know what I mean. So I knew that I was coming to my last, like, sort of like challenge for myself. Do you get what I mean? So, like, my businesses were set up. I didn't know that I was going to set more up, but I'd set my business up, I'd have my kids, and now it was time to work on me. And then obviously seeing myself in oversized clothes look tight, that made me think, right, now is your time for this. Because I have previously dieted before, but I just couldn't do it without plan. I needed someone kicking me up the arse every week. I needed that, mate. I would never have been able to do it on myself.
And the thing I love about coaching Nadine is, and whether it's based off of business success or ADHD or the fact she is now this finished form, is the fact that I'll give her something, and there are people that, and I know they cheat, they know I know they cheat, they know they don't do the work, they know I find out, but when I give her a plan, I know in 3 weeks it will have been 3 weeks done, 100%, no fucking about.
Yeah, I love it, Meg. I literally love the challenge.
And that's the thing, and I say to people, do you think people are scared of getting a challenge? Because you'll just say make it harder, Or sometimes I even have to rein it back. I say, let's not do circuits every day and run every day and try and hip thrust 200 kilograms every fucking day. But you look for that now.
I feel like if people stuck at it though and done it, it'll come, because like, how can you not enjoy something that you do every day? And how can you not? And once you do get it under your belt, that you can start to see change and whatnot. Why do you not want to see yourself looking better? Why do you not want to feel better? I just don't get it. Like, I feel like though it takes a bit of time, and if you be consistent first couple of months, it just comes, and then more than likely it'll stay forever, because you just want to get better.
Yeah. And you hinted at it just then. So you're in oversized clothes, they're tight, you lose, I think we lost like 3 stone within about 2 years, or the finished form was 2 years.
Yeah.
You then, obviously, you know, people message me and they're like, she looks great in a bin bag, blah, blah, blah. But at what point then did you think, right, I've got my 2 kids, I've got businesses, I've just lost all this weight, I need a new challenge? Because you love clothes. Where and why was 28 born?
Do you know, I just started it for a bit of fun. I think Adam went into hospital. He had an operation and we got told that he wouldn't be able to work for a long time. So while I was in hospital and I had all this free time because I had a couple of days off work, I just decided, you know what, I'm sick of wearing gym clothes, what I don't like. I'm just going to mess about, design some stuff, stayed awake 3 or 4 night shifts, stayed awake, found suppliers, literally.
So can I pause you for that? So she stayed awake while being a mum, while already training, while having a husband in hospital, for a new goal.
Yeah, like I was so excited over it, like
motivation, exciting.
Yeah, I was so excited over it, like I couldn't sleep. I was just, my adrenaline was going.
Didn't die.
No, so for 4 nights, stayed awake, got every bit of research what I needed, and I know I was only doing it for a bit of fun, but obviously they just blew up. And
when you obviously, I know a lot of the success, apart from the fact that, you know, I've got my hoodie there, you're wearing the clothes there, every one of my clients has got something. Did you like seeing yourself? Because obviously people would mess me and go, I'll never look as good as her in 28. Is the way you look a massive driver for the fashion sense? Because a lot of the questions are, where did she get her fashion sense from? Is her fashion sense based on how she looked?
I've always had fashion. just
tighter.
I've always had a passion for fashion anyway. That was my whole goal, to get thin, because everyone who I followed who's got like good fashion sense were all thin. They always wear oversized clothes. They was thin, and that was just my style. So I didn't lose weight for any. Like that was my end goal.
Yeah.
To look good in clothes. I didn't really care what I looked like out of them, but now I do.
And do you think that is your continuous driver? Because obviously some people say
I need to stay in shape now 24/7 for my brand, because that's what I'm repping, my brand.
Well, one of the questions was, and I won't be able to find it because there's too many, it was, how do you stay motivated now? And my answer was, because she's not where she wants to be.
Yeah, no, and I never will be. So that's what
none of us ever are.
Even if I feel like I'm coming to where I need to be, I'll make a bigger goal so that I'm not, and push myself that bit further. Because you don't go nowhere in your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You're just staying still. Yeah.
And I think that's the question a lot posed to athletes, billionaires and everything, and they say, when's enough? And I say to them, you're looking at the wrong part of the equation. You're looking at their bank balance and thinking they're looking at that. They're not. They're looking at their own internal progress. Am I doing my 100% best every day? No, because that business is now stable, or my body's the same. Now I've leveled up. Like 28, you want to look better, you want bigger glutes. Those are almost bigger goals than when you started. I would argue losing weight is easier than what you're doing now.
Yeah, definitely. Like, my goals change regularly. I always look at my goals every 6 months, whether it's physical, whether it's to do with work, and then I reassess them and I make bigger goals. Always done that. So
jumping back to 28, where did the name come from? Because I know they may not.
So I'm into like numerology and stuff like that, and 28's a number of wealth, so that's where that come from. I did think at first, like, who's going to wear a top with 28 on? Like, who would even do that? But honestly, everyone. It just...
Do you think that's... I watched something on Kellogg's and Nike once, and Phil Knight, the owner of Nike, said, Nike only sounds crap until it's a global brand. And
yeah,
then everyone's
honestly...
like...
Me and Adam
Think of the
sat there.
names that sound weird, like Ford. It doesn't.
No.
Ferrari sounds. It was his name, but you wouldn't.
No, well, all my brands, to be fair, have literally come from, like, they've all meant something to me, and obviously the names meant something to me, so I thought I'm just going to go with 28 anyway, because it is a number of wealth, and it's all about balance and change and just everything, like, new. So I thought that I'm going to go with that, and it just had a ring to it, and it's doing exactly what I wanted it to do.
And a lot of people have asked, kind of, because one woman said, you are young compared to a lot of entrepreneurs and how much they've done. Was it scary starting another brand?
No, not at all. No, I didn't start it for it to be anything. Honestly, this was a bit of fun to sell a few clothes on Instagram to a few girls, and that was there wasn't any big goal at first with this. I'll be totally honest with you. I just wanted to have a play about. I wanted to make myself some good gym clothes. That was how I started.
But
and
do you
then
think that kind of relaxed attitude is the one that kind of, because you didn't put like a...
Yeah, 100%, because I've done that with most of my businesses, to be fair, just quite laid back, just let it roll. But with this one, like, really laid back, because I didn't expect it to be how it was. Like, I didn't expect myself to enjoy it as much, if you know what I mean. Like, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much, and I didn't expect so many people to be locked into it either. So I think that's a bit overwhelming. Like, it's still overwhelming now.
And I think, and I believe, a lot of the reason they're locked into it is because and again, I have to say this because people are saying, oh, is it not, the clothing's insane, you have an eye for fashion, clearly, and I know where the brands go in, people don't, but kudos to you. Do you think, though, they're locked into it because they're locked into you? Because your journey is so authentic? And I think that a lot of people, I've got wealth clients who follow you, top presenters in Dubai have asked you for advice on things. Do you think you've now become somebody that people can actually empathize with? This girl is from this town, she started here, she was overweight, now they know you've been homeless and things. If I concentrate every day, no, it may be a different trajectory, but...
Yeah, I think people a lot... Yeah, I feel like people buy into a person before they buy into a brand. Yeah. I've learned that from my last business, and I feel like without my journey, I probably wouldn't have been nowhere near successful, because people obviously follow me and most people have bought into me and the trust of me selling my clothes and what I look like and how I represent the brand.
And what's been the most challenging thing setting up 28? Because that's what a lot of people have asked me, because obviously, it's kind of a fashion gym wear brand. You're going out into, it's gym wear you can wear to the restaurant later, or you wear it in the gym and you're sweating it.
I don't know what the hardest part is. I mean, I think because this is a whole new industry to me. I've been in the hair industry for 10 years, so I think just getting used to like timings with, say, like stock ordering, and then obviously because it's going so big now, like stock's getting out of control and stuff like that, so I still need to manage stuff like that. That's my hardest part at the minute, like keeping everything under control. And
a lot of questions people have asked you, and it is quite a good one, because I think of it in my own life. Do you ever wake up at 4 a.m. and become overwhelmed with the fact that you've got to go to the gym and you've got these... Because I tell people, when you get to a certain level of fitness and you've got these big weights to lift, these big sessions, it can be, I'm tired, I've got to do 200 kilogram hip thrust, as opposed to 60 back in the day. Do you ever get intimidated by the day ahead, or are you one of these people? Because I don't think you do.
Never. Literally I just take hour by hour. I don't have how I have a strict morning routine, like my morning routine locked in. That doesn't change. But anything from the school run, anything goes for me through that day. I just take hour by hour. So I'm just dead laid back, dead relaxed with that side of things. And
is it something that you would say for people to... Because you just said, I had a passion for clothes. I didn't oversize, was tight. I got in shape. It was just... Would you say that's what's lacking as well? People taking that first step? Because you just said, I woke, when Adam was in hospital...
I didn't know where I was getting the money from, if I'm honest.
This is it,
I didn't have a clue. I think I just set it up for a laugh. Well, not even for a laugh, just because I wanted to make myself some new gym clothes. I wasn't really bothered about where the money was going to come from or anything. It was something I enjoyed doing, so I just did it and then just let it roll out, basically.
And that's perfect, because something I always tell people is when they go, but Scott, how long will it take to look like Nadine? And you've just said in your version of, don't try and look like me. Just start training,
just let it roll out.
And let it roll out.
Yeah.
And it will be what it'll be.
Yeah, of course it will.
But do you think the fact that you've done this, because I always say to people, and I'm biased because it's been my life as an athlete. My dad and my mum trained. My sister and brother were sports champions young. My sister's become a bodybuilding champion in her 40s. Do you think now you're so locked in your fitness, your mindset, motivating people, do you feel you get that back? Do you feel a sense of you want to keep going for everyone else as well, or is it still very internal?
No, I do a lot of it.
Do you worry what people think?
Oh, no, not really. I mean, sometimes when people just post and shit all over Instagram, yeah. But no, I genuinely just, I do it now. I obviously don't find it hard or anything. I like to motivate other people. I feel like that gives me a buzz. Like if I'm having like a day, say where I'm having a bit of a dip, I'll get on Instagram, I'll try and motivate other people, because then that motivates me. If you get what I mean.
That's huge.
Yeah. So
you find that giving back to others then gets it back, because I said this before.
Yeah, it gives it that. Yeah. Honestly, if I'm,
it's huge, isn't it?
If I'm having a down day and I get on Instagram and I think at least if I can motivate somebody else, and then I'll look at the end of the day, I'll go back through my stories and I'll remotivate myself, and I think, do you know what I mean?
Because I get messages off people who, client Tina lost 13.5 stone now. She'll message me and go, Scott, went to the gym today, fasted, deadlifted more than ever did. And I sit there and think, why are you fucking tired to go to the gym, you lazy twat? And I'll go gym. And I've said to her, you motivated me.
Yeah. I enjoy it, me. I absolutely love it. Because I get so many inboxes and stuff as well from people on plan and people who aren't on plan, just saying like, oh, thank God I say, even if I just put like selfie on in the gym, thank God you did that, you've made me get up, I've gone for a run, and I think, oh, do you know what, because some people do need that little kick, don't they?
Yeah. People think they're alone in this,
so I enjoy that. Honestly, I get a buzz out of it.
And do you find it humbling that you get, you'd have to say who, but I know some of my clients are big hitters and they'll go, God, do you find it weird that 3 years ago these people wouldn't have been motivated by you, and now you're their idol?
Yeah.
These big hitters are like, I wore Nadine's brand, I've got Nadine's, I want.
Yeah, it is all over a bit overwhelming stuff, but I don't give it a chance to sink in.
Do you not?
No.
Do you find that that's because you're constantly not looking to stay still? And if you maybe did, because I always said to people, I practice gratitude every day. Like, fuck, I remember having to choose between petrol, home, or sleeping in my car. So regardless of what car I drive or anything, I sit there every day, and my wife finds it weird when we're in different places, and I'm like, just stop what you're doing and appreciate what we've got.
Yeah.
Do you find that sometimes not being okay with where you are is the reason you keep going? And some people, I think, because they stop and they're like, oh, I've done enough. And
it's learning to like be grateful for everything what you've got, but then still push for more.
Yeah.
Like that, it took me a while to get my head around that, because I was always wanting to push forward, but then that's why I do gratitude so much now, because I need to stop and think, right, be grateful for what you've got. You obviously worked for this, but then carry on going.
And for instance, day before yesterday, you sent me a picture of you and you went, oh my God, my hips are changing and things. Do you find that a lot of people don't? Because you're right, a lot of people tell me their gratitude, and I send out gratitude journals, and I'm not too shit hot on pushing people, but you find for a few weeks it comes back and then it doesn't. And funny enough, then their results slow down. Do you find because you journal and gratitude all the time, you're constantly aware?
Do you know, I can go through stages where, like, if I'm really mega busy, like the other week, 2 weeks I didn't do, no meditation, no gratitude, no nothing. And honestly, my mindset, bang, still went back to rock bottom. You have to, I genuinely still have to practice that daily. And if I don't, I see a massive difference in my life, like just mentally. And
what would you say to people, are your kind of tips for getting back on that wagon? Because obviously you said you didn't do it for 2 weeks. Was there something you said to yourself, right, Nade, I've got to get myself...
I just didn't do it because I was so busy. I mean, I was literally up the wall busy. I'll do it, May. If I'm busy, I'll do it. But I was literally up the wall. And I'd just say, just give it a go one day. Just get in, give it a go. Have 10 minutes meditation. People will inbox me and say, how do I meditate? Or, oh, I just feel stupid doing it. So what? You're in a room. You sat in a room on yourself. Just give it a go. What's going to hurt you about doing that? And then give it a go again the next day. Do it for a week and then see how it changes. Just give it a go.
So if you could give yourself, or if you could go back and start again on this journey, what would you have done differently, or what would you tell yourself now, or would you change nothing?
I'm one for looking back. I just don't think ever change how your journey's gone, because you wouldn't be where you would if you was in that. But yeah, probably would have doubled down a lot quicker. Like, I feel like people have got better results than me faster, like lost the weight at the beginning, because I feel like I could have gone 100% straight away, where I didn't have fucked about for ages, or a couple of weeks, didn't I? So I probably would have. But then again, my mindset has changed so much now.
Yeah. What would you have told yourself then? If you could sit next to you and kind of morph back and, like, you know, the ghost of Christmas past, sit there and gone, what would you have said?
If I could have told myself...
Because people will be where you are listening.
If I could have told myself that I was going to be where I am now, and that I'm motivating so many people and whatnot, and you're going to have a successful brand and all that, God, I wouldn't have slept. I probably would have just worked on myself 24/7. Like, I'd just done it as quick as I could. If I was looking back and telling myself now, the quickest way possible. And when you look back at that now, and you do think how far you've come, do you think other people need to have that mindset of just get in it and get it done? I just think get in, chip away, give it your best. Like, so what? Your 100% might be someone else's 40%, but just get in, chip away, and stick at it for as long as you can, and just let your journey just unfold, basically, and just as long as you just keep going every day, just keep chipping away. And
funny enough, that brings a good question in. Someone said, because things are going so good, do you ever worry things could crash at any time?
Oh, they crash all the time.
Yeah, people don't realise that.
Yeah, they crash all the time. I've just got used to handling shit, mate.
Yeah, literally
so easy now. Anything weight wise, like, nothing really phases me. The things what faze me the most are, well, there's not really, honestly. I'll be dead honest with you. These last couple of months, like, nothing really.
Because you do look to come out the other end more than you look at the problem.
Yeah, like, do you know what? I had all that, like, mad mental shit going on in my head for a few months last year. Finally come out of that about March time, and honestly, anything now, just float through it. I feel like totally changed person, if I'm honest. I feel like a whole new person.
And because you're that active and you don't procrastinate, one of the questions was, I'm sure you said you had ADHD. I do, and can't stop to see him procrastinating. Any advice?
So with ADHD, all I've learned to do is only do the things that you really like only do the things that you really like to do. So I put my mind into only things that I like doing, like creating. And you need to have proper discipline with yourself. I think when you've got ADHD, you need to have set some serious, like, routine up, and you've got to stick to it. That's the only way. That's the only way what keeps me sort of going, if you know what I mean. That's the only way I can control my ADHD, is if I've got a strict routine and I stick to that every single day, and I only do things what I enjoy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, do you think that's a self-awareness thing? Because a lot of people will be listening, and I understand what you mean, and they'll say, oh yeah, but I'm a people pleaser when I do this. Do you think because you're so strong in the fact that you've worked out being self-aware that I need to do this because that's me, and that's something people need to learn? Because I know a lot of people with ADHD that I've coached, you know, Lana won't mind me saying, learn about that discipline, you know, notebooks, things, morning routines, because that's what gave them the energy to then maybe sometimes go off track and you know, lose themselves, but they would get back on.
So I don't know what you mean though. So
in terms of, do you find that it was hard for you to just do things you like to do? Because obviously a lot of people will say, well, you know, a lot of life is about doing things you don't like to do, but you're saying when it comes to being creative that you didn't try to do things that you knew, because a lot of people do things and I'll say, you're never going to be good at that. That's not to your
just
strength.
Looking to eliminate the stuff that you don't want to do or that you're not good at, and just go for the stuff that you are.
Yeah.
Like, you're here for a good time, not for a long time. That's what I think. And that's how I just see life now.
And do you think that's something people can be taught, or do you think you literally have to tell them, stop doing shit you're not good at and don't do?
No, I feel like they've just got to learn it themselves. Like, they've just got... I don't feel like you can tell someone. I feel like they've just got to do it for themselves.
And do you feel like a lot of this is a lot of stuff that you've, in the last 3 years, you've kind of grown into, like you've just described? You've said, you know, before problems came, now I just breathe and push through them.
Yeah, I've just got more disciplined, more consistent, just more everything, and I feel like that's just what makes it easier. The harder I make it for myself, the easier it becomes. Everything life.
How do you find that comes across when you blog it? Because a lot of people have said, I love how she blogs, I love the way she motivates. Do you ever have anyone saying, easy for you, that's fine? Because I've had people say she must have had a tummy tuck, she must have had X amount of loose skin. I'm like, no, it wasn't necessarily easy, but there weren't any shortcuts to it.
No, God, no, it wasn't easy, and I think it's because I make it look easy. That's the thing. I think that's why I'm doing all this cut now and putting it on Instagram and stuff like that, so that people can see that it is actually hard, because I just must make it look easier than what it is.
And one of the questions were, and it's quite good, they said, do you ever make time for yourself? I know you're a mum.
Oh my God, I have so much time for myself every day. I spend so much time, like, I have my mornings to myself, which is 2 hours in the morning. I make sure I have an hour to myself at night. I couldn't have more time to myself now. I've got more time to myself now than I ever have, ever. I feel like you need that time on yourself. Oh yeah, it's so important. Yeah. Like so important. And I feel like if you can, and every single person needs to at least have an hour to themselves, I think, a day. And whether you can't find that hour, get up an hour early or go to bed an hour later, because I feel like you need that time for yourself. Because if you're pouring into yourself, then you can pour into other people. If you're empty, to what you say to anyone else.
Because I think a lot of people will be able to empathise with that, because they say to me, I'm a mum, I feel like if I don't see my kids for that extra hour, and I tell them...
Yeah, but your kids will benefit from you.
They will.
And your kids will benefit from you being your absolute best. Do you know what I mean? If you're drained and tired, you like can't really be bothered. You can't bothered with your kids or whatnot. Not that you can't bothered with your kids, but...
It's hard.
Yeah, and you're just feeling sluggish. Then that's going to wear off on your kids. If you have that extra time for yourself, to pour into yourself, then you're going to be able to give more to your kids. Give it back.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people will take some kind of strength from that, because I think a lot of people have this guilt about, they'll go, if I make time for myself, I'm like, well, at the moment, I feel you're a subpar parent. And if you don't take that selfish time, you're never going to become an above par parent. Because you'll just keep repeating this cycle.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, at first, and sometimes I've always felt mum guilt because I've got businesses. So when I'm at home, I'm never, like how most people who work a 9 to 5 can come home, switch off full time with the kids. Well, I can't do that anyway, because I've always got to be doing bits of work. So I think, like, me starting to work on myself, and like slow myself down and spend time on myself, feel like that's helped me. Even though I've spent that little bit extra time away from my kids, I feel like that's helped my family and my kids massively, like the way we are now. Like, I can be so much more of a mum to them than I ever was, if you know what I mean, by taking that little bit of selfish time. And I feel like so many mums, I get it all the time, like I feel so shit for my kids and whatever. Like, your kids are going to benefit. I don't feel mum guilt, I don't think.
And do you think a lot of people should take a leaf out of your book and in essence become better parents, because they're not fit enough, they're not healthy enough, they've not got enough energy?
Oh God, yeah, 100%. My son and daughter, they're such rubbish eaters, but anyway, our Cole over these last 6 months literally lives off wraps, scrambled eggs and steak. That's all he eats, and it's through watching me eat good, because he literally eats my whole plan. Whereas before, 6 months ago, he was the worst eater. He's literally lived on cereal most of his life.
Wow.
So watching him, I mean, my daughter's not got there yet, but we'll see.
And do you feel like, I'm a huge exponent, and I've lost so many followers by saying more is caught than taught, and I personally, and I will say it like this because I'm authentic, I do look at some parents and think, you're going to create the most unhealthy, lazy kids because you're unhealthy. And I said to one client, and bless her, she quit the plan for this conversation. She was telling me how unruly her daughter was. And I said to her by text, I said, the way she is to you is the way you are to me. And the way I feel about you is the way you feel about her. And she's learned this from you. And she just blocked me.
Oh, really?
And I showed and it was true though. And I know if she'd really looked at it and thought, shit, I don't stick to anything, she doesn't. I break my promises to Scott, she breaks her promises to me. Yeah. She's misbehaved to me, I misbehaved to Scott. So do you think this has made you a better parent in the journey?
Oh, God, definitely. Definitely.
You definitely fit as mum at the gates.
I could, what's the name? I could still be more of a parent, like, I still not.
I don't think I've had this conversation with you a few times. I think in life
do you
it's
know
a trade-off.
what though? My kids are just chill, like they do their own thing. They just do their own thing. If we want to do reading or they want to do playing, whatever, then we do it with them. They're not like, I think they just do their own thing anyway. So,
but also I argue with people that if you looked at life, like my dad will say, and he's been always my biggest hero. If you were to ask me how many holidays he didn't come on because he had to work, my dad was a lawyer, had his own law firms, I would say tons of them. If you were to say to me from the age of 10 to the age of 43, how many opportunities he's helped me in because he didn't come on those holidays, I don't give a shit he didn't come on those holidays.
I feel genuinely shit because we're not going away this year because of 28, because I'm growing 28, so I've put the holiday on the back burner for the summer, and I feel dead shit for my kids, but I just know that obviously you know everywhere where the brand's going, that when that happens, the kids will be set up, like they'll be set up then, but I just feel genuinely shit that we can't take them away this year. For that.
And I think that again speaks volumes of the person and the mum you are, but also I agree completely, because I've said to people there's certain things I wish I'd been able to do with my daughter when I could have, but I've been able to do 200 things more now and forever will be. And I do believe that sometimes you have to be selfish, even with kids, even with friends, because there are bigger goals.
Yeah, I mean it is going to kill me, but yeah, definitely.
And do you think that because one of the questions was on here about being a mother and doing the plan, and basically the question is, what did you find hardest being a mum and doing the plan?
The only thing I found hard was eating the kids, not eating the kids' tea, if I'm honest.
You did like those. I really wanted to grab the kids' tea.
Yeah, that was hard. I get questions all the time about that. How do you not eat your kids' tea? How can you cook your family meals and eat yours separate?
I actually answered it for you. What would you say to people is, say you make your food, you make their food. Why? Because the question is blatantly, why don't you eat it? Because I do.
So I don't. Just because I know what my body's going to change like if I stick to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I just know, but it was hard at first, like, don't get me wrong, cooking for the kids and then watching them all eat the tea, have a lasagna or whatever, and I'm sat there with a piece of dry chicken and rice. Wasn't good.
No.
Wasn't good, but like now, that I'd rather eat that. And to be fair, we all tend to eat the same now in our house, obviously other than our meadow, but we all tend to eat good, so it's a lot easier now. So
jump in 10 questions because it just happens to fit now. So people see you, and obviously, you know, I have to address the elephant in the room. You get a lot of trolls, and a lot of people criticize me. You're all out of shape, lazy, insular, deflecting motherfuckers. And whoever doesn't believe that, I will tell you that 85 to 90% of every profile I've ever opened who calls her anorexic, and if you've ever seen an anorexic, you're grossly out of order for saying it, are people who see Nadine and they go, businesses, mum, in shape, own brand, I fucking hate you because I can't do that shit. It's never anybody. I've never had a pro athlete go, 3,500 calories is shit for someone in shape. I think it's because I know loads of people who will message and say, like, there's no way you can eat that many calories and not put weight on. Oh, I haven't. Genuinely haven't. And it didn't happen overnight. It was 1,800, 2,000,
that's what I mean.
2,500.
But I think because people don't see that, they don't think that it's possible.
No, they think you just jump from 1,100 calories to 3,000.
Yeah, and then I get the shit for it. Like, I mean, them comments, they don't mean nothing to me really, but they did get to me the other day. But other than that, I think it's because I tried to quit vaping same day.
Yeah, yeah. So there you go, people, don't quit vaping while putting that picture up. It's fucking murder. But then let's talk about the trolls, because I mean, you know, a lot of people have asked me, you know, you put yourself out there on social media, you motivate thousands and 90% of my client base. How does it feel when you get because I know you're double strong, but
I know that I'm opening myself up. I just know that I am to any type of criticism, because I'm the one who's posting my journey, and I'm okay with that. I am okay with that, because I know how many people that I'm motivating or how many people are following my journey, and that's what I'm doing it for. But
it's wild when you get 7,000 likes and you get 5 or 6 people and they go, well, other people have said it. I'm like, motherfucker, there's 7,000 likes.
I know, but
holy
like,
shit.
It's mad. Like, last week when we posted a picture up, it did really get to me. Like, I felt like people was trying to make out that I was deformed and stuff like that. That really got to me. But other than that, like, it is just noise. I don't even know why I take it on sometimes, but I know for a fact that if there was a person on your plan who was, let's say, like, body conscious, and they had comments like that, it could make them come straight off plan.
Oh,
Could make the, you could have you could literally turn to having an eating disorder.
Yeah. We've had people binge, people quit, people question if I'm telling them lies about how they look.
Well, so-and-so say.
I did feel like throwing the towel in, if I'm honest, last week, just for that reason, because I got like it just really got to me, because there's so many people just like messaging, like, for people to say I look anorexic. I don't get it, mate, because I don't.
It's fucking wild. If anyone Googled what anorexic looks like, they can't eat. They lose their hair. They're, unfortunately, bless them, anorexia nervosa is a debilitating, life-threatening disease.
I don't know why people would throw it about.
But then I've always said this to you: if you throw that word around, instantly you invalidate anything else you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, I think your success is proportionate to the amount of pain it causes people to see, because when people hear this podcast and they realise how much it took you to get there, I believe it will instantly hurt more people, because they'll look at themselves and go, fuck, I'm lazy.
Yeah,
Shit.
do you know what, though, speaking of that,
and they will go around the other way then.
Speaking of that, like, if it does trigger people, like, I've been there when I was bigger.
Yeah.
And I used to look at people on Instagram and I think, oh, why can you wear that or whatever, and see that they was doing well. That used to trigger me, like, really, really bad. And it's a good thing, I think, because you need it. You need that. You need to feel that within yourself to be able to do something about it. I think it's good, but I just feel like I'm getting a lot at the minute.
Do you think it's proportionate? Because obviously I didn't realise the other day, I remember we had a competition, so you'd hit 100,000 followers, and then I think you were on 67 or 70 and I hit it, and now I've done about 23 more and you've just rocketed past. Do you think that's part of it?
I'll be taking over in the next 2 months.
You are. I think, no, actually, I'll have a look. I think you are. But do you think it's because your journey has been so prolific to a lot of people that you're just going to get people who can't see it for what it is, and they go, because, you know, I saw one girl right there, and then I don't understand why they admit this, and she said, oh, I know it's triggered me because I used to have an eating disorder. And I thought, well, don't let your failure to do this properly without a coach impact Nadine's mental health.
Yeah.
If it triggers you, that's not our problem. And I say that unreservedly. I feel sorry for everyone who's got a problem, but it's no one else's problem.
No, it isn't nobody else's problem, no, but I feel like it is good, because you need that time to sit and realise what it is, what somebody's doing, what's triggering in yourself, for you to then go away and work on that. I've learned so much about that, me, the last 8-10 months, just with sitting with myself, because I've had so many triggers, me, these last 8-10 months, just random things, and I think that's been a massive eye-opener for me, and being able to sit with myself and sort of like learn about my own triggers, not like get rid of them, but learn and know how to control them. Massive for me. That's like a really huge part of my journey, that like all like the internal stuff.
Do you still get any do you still look at people like people look at you? Do you still look at girls and think, I wish I had your body, I wish I looked like that?
Oh god, yeah, all the time. I look at people, my Instagram's just full of naked women. And I don't look at them and think, oh, I wish I had that, because I know if I wanted it, I'll go and get it.
Yeah.
But I do look at other people, like, for inspiration. I feel like everyone should have people who they aspire to.
See, I've said that. A lot of people say.
I don't look at them for, like, envy.
Yeah, of course.
No, I don't envy nobody.
Because a lot of people say, don't compare yourself. But I say do, because it gives you a benchmark, what could be achieved.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in, I think, the most toxic environment ever in the 80s, where we had Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sly Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, every He-Man, Batman, Superman, massive alpha males, silly muscles, tall, and that made us grow up wanting to be them, even though you can't be Superman, the idea of Superman. Yeah. So when women look at you, Carrie messaged me yesterday, someone and I know, a client on plan, and said, she literally is the reason I do a lot of this. Do you think that helps you ground yourself to realise that it is, sometimes it's not about 28 or about how good your abs look. You are now somebody that people every day will click on your profile and go, she's doing it, so I can.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love it. That's what I'm here for, I think. Like, that's what I live for now.
Because that's
pushing
a lot of responsibility.
I feel like you need to learn, like, learn something, get good at something, and then once you're good at it, then give it back to others. That's just how I work. Done it with business, and I'm doing it now with this, what I enjoy.
And the question a lot of people asked, and it's one I think that a lot of people don't think you go through, and a lot of people have said, I get constantly annoyed with myself that I don't do this, I don't do that. Do you have those internal struggles still? Do you still battle yourself on certain things, whether it be getting up early, food, drink, training, anything?
When you say battle, do you mean like, do I find it hard? Or
yeah.
No, unless I'm pushing myself out of my comfort zone, which is all the time. Like all the food and stuff like that, that's all easy. But like with things what I haven't done before, so like this was a challenge for me. This was
What
hard.
made you not do it? Because obviously you could have texted me and gone, I'm ill, something's happened last minute.
I don't know, I was very, very close, to be fair, and then I just thought, sort your head out, get up, you're doing it. I didn't give myself an option to not do it. Like I tried to talk myself out of it all day yesterday, and this is the same with like when I first started training. That's what I used to do, try and like something inside me would try and talk myself out of it, and I'd just make myself, no, you're doing it, you'll feel better at the end. That's when I go and run Rivy. I absolutely hate this full 10k, but I just know I chase the after feeling on everything, because I know when I come out of here today, I'll be buzzing.
So that's a question that someone asked, and it seems like I'm jumping back, but it'll go on something else. So you saw a mutual friend of ours train, Sophia, and it made you want to sign up. But you were obviously aware of the process, even though people say they're not aware of the process, it's in your face. Was that hard for you, like today's podcast, to jump into? You messaged me, you paid, you started. Were you kind of procrastinating for a few weeks, or did you just go?
I was ready. I was ready.
Yeah,
I was literally. I think because I built myself up to. I got the training side, like I'd built up.
You've been doing really well.
Yeah, with running and stuff like that. I felt like I was fit enough,
yeah.
But I just knew that I needed that help on the food side, and I was ready to go straight in. But then obviously, I couldn't grasp the alcohol at first. So that's why.
And do you think that's something that people need to be aware of? Because a lot of people will say to me, I do believe that most people are way too addicted to alcohol and food in an unhealthy way, in the sense of it's something they just can't. My dad always said, if it's something you can't stop tomorrow, it's a problem. Yeah,
I feel like you need help. Like if you are like me and I never ate anything healthy, I'll be dead honest. I didn't eat veg enough, and so I was so scared of the thought of having to eat veg. I didn't eat no veg, nothing. Like
I don't eat
I was
a lot of
such
veg,
a picky
green as powder.
Picky eater, and because I worked so much, I was just grabbing food on the go and whatever. So that was a bit scary. Like, oh God, what am I going to eat and stuff like that. But I forgot what I was even on about, Scott.
About whether things were hard for you at the start. You didn't procrastinate, you jumped into the FD plan, you were ready for it, and what you found hard going through that bit. Because you just said then people are too focused on the alcohol.
I feel like anybody who struggles with diet, like whose eating habits aren't great, they need someone keeping them accountable. Have to have someone keeping you accountable. I don't believe you can do it on yourself unless you're already mentally strong. Because if you could do it, you would have already done it. Why would you not?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You'd already be eating healthy. You'd already be in shape, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah, and I said that a lot of people. I think people.
And it's not bad to want help. Like some people, are like, no, I can do it on myself. Why do I need a coach for? Or why do I need this? Well, you genuinely do, because otherwise you'd be in shape. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
You would. It's not bad to get help either. Like I'm at that point in my life now. If I want help with like anything like that, I'll get a coach or a mentor for. I'd have a coach or a mentor for anything that
it's so weird that people won't do it. I've had business mentors all the time.
Yeah, I think it's great. People see it as that they can do it on themselves, and that's when they fail.
Yeah, people have got a massive ego when it comes to it. I mean, I was a pro athlete young. I had athletics coaches and pro coaches till I was 18 years old. We never once thought we could step on a court without having someone tell us how to do it.
Yeah.
And we were the pinnacle of the, because you realise you're not as good as, you're only physically as good, you're not mentally as good.
Yeah.
So sorry, Karen.
Go on.
No,
I forgot what I was going to say.
So something that people ask me about this process is, what is one of your favourite parts of the process? Do you love the weights now? Do you love the cardio now? Which part have you grown to love, or which part do you still fucking hate? Which you said about
I don't
Rivy.
hate any of it, because it's still hard. So like everything I do is still hard. So whether it's weight training or whether it's cardio, I still make it hard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I like that push. But with the weight side of things, don't get me wrong, I used to think, I'm going to go boxy, I'm going to go square and whatnot. And it's just not, is it? Doesn't it?
And it takes longer than people think. I said this to people about, they're like, but she's 3 years in now. I'm like, getting muscle takes so fucking long.
I started with like literally 2 kilogram weight, and I thought I was the shit at that. Like, thought I was the best picking them weights up. Whereas like, and people are messaging, say to me now, like, how can you pick that much weight up? But you don't. You just do it over a period of time.
Yeah.
And this is another thing. People will want to just throw themselves in. They'll injure themselves, and then they won't go back to the gym again.
Yeah, of course.
So again, that's about being patient. Everything is about having patience, being consistent, and being disciplined. If you've got them 3 things, boom, take over the world.
And do you think that translates then into your business, into your home life?
Into everything.
Yeah.
Into everything. You need to have the patience. You need to be disciplined enough to get in and get it done. And then you need to be consistent with it and be constantly doing the same shit every day, whether you like it or not. And if it is, and at first it is shit, but you just got to keep at it.
So here's something that I wanted to ask. So you've just basically described the boring, repetitive shit that is business and training. You said it then like it's just every day the same shit going on. How are you, do you think, so okay with that when so many people go, I'm not excited, I got bored of this, whereas you and I both know, and every other athlete and businessman that will listen, that is just what it is? I
like the boring shit, me, if I'm honest. Like, I enjoy
100%.
That. And I know that
you can track it as well.
Yeah, literally, I feel like I just enjoy doing the same stuff every day, and it is.
You can see you improve as well, can't you?
Yeah,
when you
do this, when you're doing the same thing as well constantly, that's where you're getting your result. That's the fastest way to get your results. So
ironically,
you can either do it the boring way and get the results quicker, or don't do it the boring way and don't even get results, or if you do, really, really slow ones.
Yeah, everyone loves to hop about because it's exciting, but I tell people you have to get comfortable with the boring shit because it just is, like you said.
And you learn to love the boring, like you do learn to love it, because fair enough, you might be doing the same 3 exercises every 3 days or whatever, but you just challenge yourself to lift more. That's the whole idea. Do you know what I mean?
You're like
challenge
me, you'll
that 1% extra.
You'll come out of a session and go, I just did 10 more kilograms or 1 more rep on this, and I say to people, that is the mindset of champions, is to get excited over the boring, because if you get excited over it, in 10 weeks time, 10 more reps, 10 more kilograms makes a different body.
100%.
And do you think you had to learn that, or do you think that came because you already had some success with weaves and everything, or did you find that because I almost said we have to stick to this, that you grew to understand it?
I only understood it through you, if I'm honest. Like, I feel like all this training and stuff like that, I feel like I didn't, because I had no clue about it. I wouldn't have known that if I stuck to what I was doing, that was going to get the results what I got.
But you're very good at it.
I only do now. Oh yeah. But I only did after, obviously, seeing the process, seeing my body change so much. Otherwise, I would have just been one of them people who just different thing in the gym every day.
Yeah, because she'll send me an exercise and I'll go, that's just inferior, stick to this. And whereas 90% of people go, oh yeah, but I'm bored, she'll go, okay, right, and it's just not a conversation we have twice.
Yeah, and I don't actually think that's for your business. I think it's just learning, seeing my body change so fast from the stuff what you've given me, and from being consistently doing the same thing day in, day out. Like, people are messaging and go, do you eat that every day? And I'm like, yeah, well, I enjoy it. I like it, and it's getting me results, so why would I not?
And the funniest thing, and I harp on about this because everyone in business and psychology will know that the things you don't say are a huge indication of the way you understand things. I get a lot of people say to me in the first year, I say, stick to that, stick to this. They say, Scott, but I'm paying you. And I say, you're paying me to tell you to stick to it if you have to stick to it. And they'll go, but I paid you 500 quid, you've only changed my plan once. She never said that. She never questioned why I wasn't changing things, because there is a mentality of people who trust the experts in front of them. Like, we have an announcement at the end, and there's part of this process where I literally turn to her and go, you know best. Just if you think that's right, because I understand that even though she's kind enough to ask for my opinion's shit. And that sometimes if you're paying someone, you just have to be mature enough. Like, I've coached multi-millionaire families up to billionaire families, and none of them have ever said to me, yeah, but I'm paying you, why can't you change it? They literally go, what should I do? And I go, stick. They go, cool. I say change, they go, cool.
Yeah, I think if you're paying someone, you're paying for their expertise. Like, you can't do it yourself, so
it's wild. I always say, you know best. No.
People, I'll get clients who come for the red and they'll tell me how to do it, and I think, well, no, obviously. Wild. Or if I go and have if I was going having my hair done, or I was going to someone specially to have, say, like my eyelashes done, I'm not going to tell them how to do my eyelashes. They're the expert. Like, you're paying them, aren't you? So it's only the same as that.
And do you think your mindset now, or not even mindset, do you think when you get the DMs and your questions, and I've got a few more questions to go through on here, do you think when you tell people, they genuinely take it on board? Because I will admit, you've told clients things and they've come back to me in the check-in, they've gone, just spoke to Nadine, I get it. So that's massive, because I've told them they haven't got it, and I'm meant to be the all-seeing eye. You've told them, and they go, and people ask me if that offends me. I'm like, no. If somebody else puts my message across better than me,
I feel like I'm just a nice version of you. No, I do get a lot of people on Planet.
Because do you think people don't get it, even though you're living it? And to be fair, one of the most dramatic transformations I've ever done. Do you think people still want, like, I'll tell people, I often use you, Alana, I'll go, Nadine just did that, or she didn't ask me that, and they go, oh, and I'm like, but you've heard that. What
yeah, I think from me, I think obviously if it's coming from me, because a lot of people don't think that I've done it, or they're like,
no tummy tucks, by the way.
Yeah, they want to know how I've done it and stuff like that. So I think coming from me, yeah, that's probably why they ask.
And do you think they're scared to know how you, because in the last 20 minutes you've said, I stick to the same things, I love challenging myself, when something's hard I push through, I need to suffer to grow, and stuff's boring and I accept it. Do you think people are ready to hear that?
Well, if they're ready, then they're ready, aren't they? But if they're not, then they're not going to take it on and listen to it. Yeah.
And what would you tell somebody?
The people who are ready to do it will do it.
And do you ever, because I do and I admit it, and you shouldn't say that about clients, but I do, because they do. Do you ever get people inbox you and they you can tell they want an easy way?
Oh yeah, I have loads of people inboxing me, or like, can you give me a plan and stuff like that. I get loads of people to just ask me for me plan and my workouts, but yeah, definitely.
And by the way, for even though this shouldn't be a thing, what I give to Nadine isn't what I would give to you, because I know one person messaged me the other day and went, I can't eat eggs and fish, and I went, what? And they went, well, Nadine did that. I said, well, because she can want it, she accepted it, I can push her further than 100% of every other client. And they were like, oh. And I was like, well, yeah, but she only got to that. Like, we wouldn't have done that within the first 6 months.
Yeah, literally, I tell people, like, there's no point, because everything is tailored to each individual.
Yeah, even though this diet isn't too bad.
No, this is all right.
Yeah. And yes, you can have 2 grenade bars a day and stay in shape. That was about, I'll tell you what, one.
Do you know, it's not been too bad.
3, 4 questions on how you eat 2 grenade bars a day.
Oh
and
my
I'm
God.
like, but she
I
didn't
can just
2 years
throw
ago.
them down. I
You
can throw them down.
Grenade, Alan, sponsor. He would actually, if Alan, oh no, you don't, does he have shares anymore? Whoever owns Grenade now, you would sell bars of that.
No, I know.
Who is it? Is it still Alan? Is it still Alan Ballard? Is he got? Didn't he sell to the Hut Group or whatever?
Do you know why he doesn't do gluten-free one to them?
He might not have the full, but he's...
Alan, gluten-free, Carl says.
We was on about
Nadine
with him,
says, were you?
Leah.
They do, I have to admit, grenades do leave me, and I'm pretty metabolically flexible, I don't really have gut issues, they do leave me a bit bloated. It's a strange one.
Yeah, but this is what it is with me, all or nothing.
Where's dairy milk?
I'll eat both of them at the same time, mate. And then I'll just boom, straight out.
Another
because I'm
question,
so greedy.
another question was, funny enough, on the greed thing, says, savoury or sweet, chocolate or crisps? And I said this to a lot of people, we have oddly the same favourite chocolate.
Yeah.
Is it hard for you? Because I admit this to everyone, whatever you look at and see me in the past 15 years, I can't have one. I said to Nadine the other day, funny enough, I'm dieted, don't really want to get lean yet. I nailed 4 Ripple bars in a conversation with Nadine.
Yeah.
That's just me. Shouldn't have put them in the fridge.
And that's me. That's exactly me. I can't buy them, because if I buy 4, I'm eating 4.
100%.
But I tell you one thing.
The first 3 don't count.
No, I tell you one thing with me. Like, I was addicted to crisps. Like, that was my biggest thing ever. Like, full on addiction. I could eat boxes of
Really?
them.
I don't get the
So
crisp bit.
I knew that when I started working out, I had to cut them out my life forever. Like, and I actually have. Like, crisp at first, that there was such a challenge. Like, I'd have to eat one either there. But now, like, fully gone, I had to literally cut them out my life, like,
okay, so
fully.
Why did you, and the fact you're talking about it like you needed to do it should be a lesson to
That
people.
was like a big
I can't
addiction.
count things I like.
No, that was a
Why did
massive
you?
addiction, because I knew that if I carried on eating crisp, no matter how much I dieted, and if I carried on eating crisp, I'm just gonna stay the same, if not go worse. So I had, and I couldn't. I couldn't have them in my life just to have one packet even there, because I couldn't do it. It's like a chocolate bar now. That's what I'm like with chocolate. Like, give me a chocolate bar and I'll eat 5. I feel like I just had to cut it fully out, especially Chris, because that addiction what I had was...
Well, do you know what, though? I said this to a lot of people. Somebody said to me the other day I was talking to another person about the Ripple, and they said, wasn't one enough? I went, no. For my psychology, one Ripple did fuck all to me wanting chocolate. At the end of 3, I could argue that I was kind of like... But then, do you know what? I knew there was a 4th in the packet talking to you on WhatsApp, and I went, fuck it, I'll just have that tomorrow when I shouldn't be having it. So 4 is the same as 1. But my point to people is, certain psychologies, like do you know the big bags of Frazzles?
Yeah.
How the hell people got, I had 5. I have to get to the point my fingers are wrinkly.
Yeah.
But I don't have them, and that's me, and I'm like you. I'm pretty... If I'm on it, I'm on it. You can't waver me. So I've said this to people. If you have to get rid of something, get rid of it and stop listening to people that go, you should be able to eat things you overly love.
No, you can't.
Fucking can't.
I see so many people saying, like, look, if you want to do this, just do it. But or you want to eat this, you can't, because you're just setting yourself up.
Kill it.
Then, yeah, like, I remember you used to put on my plan, like, 2 pieces of chocolate, and at one point, I physically couldn't do it, so I said to you, cut it out for me, because I was just eating a bar. There's no way I could have just ate 2 squares, but that was me mentally knowing that I couldn't do it, so we just cut it out, didn't we? But
lessons to people.
Some people can't.
Okay, and in one sense, just talking about the food bit, because we had a lot of questions about food. What do you think? I know that, you know, I've started my diet this week, but going on holiday in 10 weeks, I want to get a lot leaner. And someone said, what do you eat? And I went, I'm slightly autistic. I've eaten the same 3-4 foods for 20 years. I just don't get that because I'm from an athletic background. But the point is, I said to them, I'll eat anything. Like, I don't like, as Dr. Demon know, I don't like fish. I've had to eat it twice a day to repair some plaque levels I had on my heart. Now, I don't particularly love it, but it's for a purpose, and the meal takes 10 seconds to get down.
Yeah.
Why, when I say to you, I'm going to give you this, do you not go, like, 'cause 99% of people go, no, I can't eat that. Why, what inside you makes you go, fuck it, it's only for a time?
It's just a mental challenge with myself. I just love challenging myself, and plus I know...
Because you say make it hard.
Yeah, I always say make it hard, because I think if I'm going to do it, you may as well go 100%. What's the point in beating about the bush? Just get stuck in, harder the better.
And do you like people now knowing? Because a lot of people will say, I was watching something on the late Kobe Bryant, and he said, I like people knowing my Mamba mentality is better than theirs. Not in a sense that he wants to be better than people. He just likes people to know that he'll train longer than you, before you, and after you. Do you like the fact that so many people say, I couldn't fucking do what Nadine does? Does that give you... Because 3 years ago, you could never have been that person. You weren't.
No, I don't know if it, like...
Does it not motivate you to know
it does, to be fair. It does motivate me, and I love, like, I'm getting so much more confident with posting my journey, because these next 10 days, because I don't think people realise how hard I can go when I want to go. I think that's why these next 10 days of me doing a cut, that's why I'm trying to document it all, so people can see that side of me, because people think that that it's so easy, if you get what I mean. So I feel like that's why I'm doing that.
And that, would you say that everyone needs, because I do think everyone needs to do really hard shit regularly, or uncomfortable shit?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I do uncomfortable stuff all the time.
And I think, is it Joe Rogan who said that the fact that people don't do uncomfortable shit is why everyone's gone soft? Yeah.
Easy. What's that saying? Easy life. What is it?
I quoted this to my dad. It's hard times, easy times make... No, what's the... Carl, do you know that quote? Hard times make hard men, easy times make...
No, it's hard...
I'm going to look it up.
Hard life. No, I can't even think what it is.
I'm going to look it up. And do you think that... do you think finding the hard times is something that people need to look up? Hard times make easy... It's when I read
it's something
it out,
like hard life. No, I don't even know what it is.
Oh, here we go. I've got it now. I'm going to... Tough times create strong men create easy times create weak men create tough times.
Yeah, that wasn't the one.
Is it not the one?
Wasn't the one
it's the one out of the meme.
No, the other. Yeah, it's sort of the same as that, I think.
But I do think that if people constantly look for the easy way out, because I've got a quote, and I can't tell people where it comes from, and everyone keeps saying to me in all your podcasts and all your blogs for the last 5 years, 6 years, 10, 22 years now, in fact, in my life, there's something you keep hinting at, and and a lot of people know I can never admit it because the person involved doesn't want me to tell because other people don't know. But the fact is, I've seen people go through the toughest times ever and keep mundane shit that I was going through and other people going through seem like it was important to them, and it really wasn't. And I've said to people, the way they moan about broccoli and a cardio session, I pray they never get a terminal illness, because it will fucking destroy them. Because I know the people I know who've recovered from serious illnesses were the people that didn't struggle to get up early in the morning, didn't struggle when it was cold, didn't struggle with the diet, in whatever realm of life they're in. And I think people like you, not that I would ever want it to happen, would breeze hardship, and that many people who inbox us will be fucking doomed.
I feel like people who have stuff easy, I feel like you need to have diet. I feel like diet's probably one of the hardest things to like master, and I feel like that's, you need that type of toughness in toughness too. I forgot what you was on about.
Yeah, no, there's a Muslim quote that I love.
It's gone up my head.
That says to people, if food controls you, you lack the primal discipline.
I feel like food's like one of the biggest. Like if you can be disciplined with your food and on yourself, like fitness wise, I feel like you can just master everything else.
Do you think it's because people chase the dopamine from food because they can't sit with themselves? Do you think it's a bigger problem because people can't struggle, they rush to that pizza or rush to that alcohol?
Yeah.
Whereas now you just go gym, start a fashion brand.
Yeah, because all my habits were bad. Like I didn't have anything good. I turned to alcohol, turned to food. Stress was constant. I just feel like it's the habit change, isn't it?
So if you have, because I know this answer. So if something were to stress you tonight, what would be your avenues out? What would you do?
To be fair, I just get up, just do the same shit as what I normally do every day.
Yep. So whether you had the stress or not,
maybe just go a little bit harder, like it just, just get up and get at it again. Just same tomorrow. If I have a bad day or I have a day where I dip or whatever, I just think tomorrow's a new day. Go to bed, do exactly the same tomorrow, but do it 1% better. See what happens.
And that's the thing I tell people. They say, how do people like you cope with stuff? And I'm like, they're built to cope. Their whole life is a lifestyle of coping. They don't, if it's been about, like I had a client the other day, so I really had a bad day, can't wait for beer. And I went, your life isn't structured yet if you need the beer.
No, yeah.
That's you chasing dopamine or chasing the high of the beer, the alcohol, because alcohol's a stimulant before it's a depressant. I said, you needed to have said, I'm going to go back to my books, I'm going to go do this banking, I'm going to go out with the family, I'm going to go to the gym. They were the avenues of success.
Yeah.
Needing the drink or the food. It's why people, when they say to me, I can't wait to finish my diet and have a cheat meal, I'm like, you still don't get it.
No, yeah. No. I mean, no.
And what would you say to people, because a lot of the questions were, I've got to get back, are, do you crave cheat meals? Do you crave cheat days? And if so, do you have them?
When it's time of the month, I crave absolutely everything.
You do?
But like literally everything. And I think we're only human, like everyone's going to have them cravings. But what I would say is just stick at what you're doing until you can get yourself into a place where you can have cheat meals and it won't affect you. So
this is I love you come on to it. This is what a lot of people asked is, how long did it take you to get this way, and do you still have the same discipline around food? Because obviously if you fucked off to a desert island now, spent 2 weeks eating donuts, shit and alcohol, you'd come back in exactly the same shape. That's what being metabolically effective. So how do you still, because a lot of people say to me, the crass example, if I had your money I'd buy 10 things. I said you wouldn't, because along the journey of getting the wealth you would realise that you don't need those things. So do you now think, fuck it, I can't wait to go and obliterate myself on cake? No, so when I noticed most when I was going on holiday. So like my last holiday I went on, all clean, like first holiday I went on, or last year's holiday when I went away, straight nosedive, straight into the buffet, straight in on every single cocktail. Went absolutely wild, because obviously I hadn't got to that stage yet where I could. I did. Before I went on holiday I thought, do you know what, I'll be dead good on holiday. Got there day one, straight in the buffet. Holidays are hard. And then day two, then even worse. And when I come home off holiday and I put so much weight on, I just thought, you are not ready to be going, even having a cheat meal, because it just set me back so much. Whereas in this year, like I went on holiday in, when was it, February, and I come back and I'd lost weight. I just ate clean every day. I did
literally
videos every day for people.
Yeah, I literally ate to plan. Like I ate, because that's how much I like what's on my plan, like my steak, my wrap and stuff like that. And I just ate because I'm trying to make it now where food is just fuel for me. Like I'm trying to mentally register that, because I still think that I could sway off now. I still don't think I'm fully there, but I think it's because
so important to hear, everyone.
I had such an attachment to food. Like I still think of food 24/7. But I've got to the point now where food I like what I'm eating, so I'm not really wanting to go off, but I still feel like I'm trying to mentally lock that into my head that it is just fuel, and that's all it is for me. Because I do think, if, like, I had a couple of weeks off, didn't I, the other week, and I did eat, but I could feel myself slipping, if you know what I mean. So I'm not fully there yet myself after how many years.
And that's important for people to hear, because I think people think that you, me, all of us don't have these times where, like I said, I ate 4 Ripple bars in 8 minutes. And I did, but what you're talking about is what I have now later on the line, is where you pull it back straight away and you go, whoa. And most people can't. And do you think, though, because I remember the holiday, you had all the pictures in the, what's the white hat called? What are they called, those hats?
Them straw hats.
Yeah, the straw hats. You were doing videos on the beach. Do you think that is part of the reason you were able to stay a bit more disciplined, because you are now this example to people? You are this closed horse.
Oh wow, yeah. I need to be 100% me now, and I feel like it is for everybody. It isn't just, it is for me, because obviously because I'm a brand, but I feel like I'm trying to set an example to other people. 100%. So if I start swaying off, what sort of an example am I?
The Rock talks about it a lot. He says, I get up at 4 a.m. not only for me but for you guys.
Yeah, and I feel pressure for, like, I feel like the pressure is on for me to outperform myself every day. For me to outperform myself, so that other people then get up and follow suit. Do you know what I mean? But every day is getting like some days when I do have days where I think, oh yeah, can't be arsed or whatever. I know I have to do it. I have to push through.
Non-negotiable.
Yeah. And even more so now with how many people follow me. Like, I didn't realise how many people follow my journey. It's
incredible. And I was asked off, I think, God, all my staff, my wife, everyone said, bet you can't wait for the podcast, but everyone's excited. Because I think people don't realise, and they will now, how far you came, how fast, but also how long it's been for you to build these habits, and the fact that you still want more.
Yeah, I think it's took a long time, but you know, this whole journey's been absolutely amazing. I wouldn't change it. I don't think I would speed it up if I got the chance to, because I feel like,
I think you did it really fucking fast, though.
I feel like I did it. I feel like everything has just flowed perfect. Like, the whole journey, like, I've had time to sit and,
because you do a lot outside of the gym to think it could have gone faster, because you can't, you know, like everyone does. Everyone has family problems, kids problems, health problems, everyone gets sick, everyone has business ups and downs. I don't personally think you could have done it any faster, because I don't think those roadblocks you could have got over quicker.
I think it's because I know that I had them few times where I just swayed off and had a drink or whatever, so to me that wasn't like 100%, if you know what I mean. But
do you not think that was the slingshot that enabled you to get, because I've always said to people, it's like power up stations. I talked to Alana in that first, I think, 4 months where I kicked her off plan for a month. Everyone actually who's been kicked off plan has an insanely great story. I think that's the bit that makes them go, fuck, actually. He's telling me I fucked around. I actually know I'm fucking around, so he's telling the truth, and I don't want to be a fuck around. But I've always said to people that I don't think if I'd ever fallen so hard 15 years ago, I would ever have wildly got this close to where I am. And I don't think if you'd have gone faster, I think the fact that you drank and then realised that may have been a problem, and the fact that you fucked around with food and we had that fallout, that you would have become this motivator. Because I think the fact that I do believe that pulls you back like an elastic band, and then you go fuck, and it pings you farther.
Yeah. I feel like you have to fail, but fail forward.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, fail forward. Tony Robbins says it all the time. You know, and embrace the fail and learn from it. Don't
like,
be
people do inbox me all the time and say like, "Oh, I failed today," or fell off the wagon. But then the next day they don't get up and just carry on and go again. They then fall off the wagon day 2, day 3. Yeah, everyone fails. Like, wow, sorry, you ate a pack of crisp. Forget about it. I know some people do it. Get up and go again the next day, 1% again. Do you know what I mean? Whereas people will not. They'll do it and then stay off the wagon. They'll fall off, stay off, never get back on again, or get back on 3 months later and have to start from the beginning again.
And it's something. I can't remember her name is. Rupal, I think her name is. A really nice Indian lady. She fell off. She had to leave. She knew the rules. She came back 3 months later and goes, "I've lost another 2 stone." Because I understood what I was doing wrong. And like Alana, she came back, lost weight. You came back, had lost weight. And I think people don't realise that you can either do what you do and get back on the wagon, or I don't think you were ready for the process at all. Because if you just throw it in, regardless of what the outcome is, you weren't ready.
No, I remember saying to you, let me back on plan because I'm going to do it regardless anyway. I'll lose the weight myself if you don't. Because I knew in my head
that I was the mentality.
I knew in my head, you know what? I just thought, because I just thought, obviously I knew I would have lost it quicker with you, but I thought, do you know what? I'm in that mindset now that I'll fucking do it anyway. But I'm so glad that I did.
And do you think that's a resilience that you want other people to listen to? Because I mean, a lot of people do just quit. And I don't, and I've always said this, especially people with kids notice you quitting. I have people close to me say, oh, I know mum binges in the car park. I know mum always does what she says she shouldn't do. That sticks with you. Do you think do you think you're a role model to your kids now, other people?
Do I think what? I'm a role model?
The fact that you're now a role model to people is a reason because I say this to people, you don't have to not quit things because of some huge galactic reason. It can be 10% other people watching you, 10% your kids, 10% yourself. Do you think there's a whole load of emotional reasons now that you keep getting better and better and better?
I never quit, mate. I'd never quit on anything. Anything I put my mind to, I'll never ever quit. Good. No matter what, big lesson. Never from when I hit rock bottom years and years ago. I always told myself, if you're doing it, you're doing it. You're not quitting. When I lock in, obviously there is times when I used to diet and stuff before I was on plan. But if I'm locking in something, I will never quit until I finish. Never, ever, ever.
And if you had to give one piece of advice to people about that mentality, okay, I'll put it another way. When you now think of 28, where it's going, your figure, the way people view you, how you motivate people, and you get that internal drive, and it gets hard, what makes you carry on?
Myself.
And do you know what? 99% of the questions can be answered by that one word, yourself.
Just myself. Because I know where I'm going, I know what I want, and I'm going after it. And
I say this to people all the time. I'm like, you all want this magic bullet from me, and you want a magic word from her. That's the word, herself. She wants it.
Yeah, I motivate myself every day. I don't need... I have people who I follow, obviously, for inspiration, but nobody can motivate you except for yourself, really. I don't think. I feel like you've got to do it all yourself.
Oh yeah, someone asked me ages ago. They said, "Do you have to motivate you?" And I went, "Nope. I literally am just the bloke that solves the problems. She does the work."
Some people do need that extra kick, but I feel like if you can't motivate yourself, no one can do it for you. Can they?
My answer's always been that if you check your bank balance and you've not got money, you should never not have motivation until there's money. If you look in the mirror and look like shit, there's never been a day ever when I look in the mirror and go, yep, you're not motivated, because I'm never what I want to be.
No, exactly, I'm the same.
And I just think that when people say to me after 2 weeks, they go, I'm not motivated, and they've got type 2 diabetes and they're unfortunately obese, I say to them, you've got to have a wide conversation with yourself as to why that situation I've just labelled isn't enough.
I think people are as well. You just got to think, right, well, it's not your time, so go back to doing what you're doing and come back when it is your time, because some people aren't going to... I think as well, some people with people who aren't overly unhappy with themselves. They're not going to put they're not going to put that extra effort in because they're not totally unhappy with themselves. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. It's like me. I hit a place where I tried to diet loads of times, failed, but then I hit a place where I thought, yeah, enough's enough. Now's the time. Some people haven't got to that stage yet, so they will get on plan and think, I can't do it or whatever. I feel like then it's not your time. You need to needs to really be your time to go all in.
Bella will tell you, we turn down so much business from people who, funny enough, come back, and I say why, and they tell me, and I say it's not enough. I know, and they're like, "No, Scott, you're rude. I'll smash it." I said, "You won't. I know from years and years. You'll know where you need to be to get this done."
Yeah, I feel like if I'd have got, I knew I was ready to get on plan at any time before that. Oh, it would have been a massive fail.
and because regardless of what people can like curves, blondes, brunettes, whatever, but no one can argue you're not in world-class shape. So because you now don't have a disgustingly painful why, is it now self-worth, self-respect, your own belief? Because people could argue that you're the finished product for everybody who wants to look like you.
Oh God, I've still got loads of insecurities.
So Do you feel, because I do, because in business and in my training, I'm nowhere wildly where I want to be. And I don't even register where I am because that I know will slow me down. Do you look at yourself? Because if I told you the amount of time she'll send me a picture of herself, and ironically, this is true, she sends me pictures of people who aren't as good as her, which is wild. And sure, I want to be them, and I'm like, they're shitter. No offense. I don't use that phrase, but I probably do. Do you think that the internal drive you have now is as strong as it was 3 years ago?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah.
I would argue probably stronger.
Yeah,
You're way more picky now.
it's more. God,
Shit.
I am. I'm really picky now, aren't I? But I feel like, because I know that I can get, like, I know that I can achieve whatever I put my mind to. So I think I can be that bit more picky with myself. God, I'm murdered with myself now.
And I think that's healthy, because, I mean, it's never at the expense of your going forward. It's always to help you go forward. I've always said to people, I think there was a video of a girl who'd lost 7 stone and she was grabbing her rolls in the video, and there's comments going, that's so toxic. I went, if her grabbing her rolls made that ass get out of bed, grab your rolls, girl.
Yeah, do you.
Holy
like,
fuck, do you.
Everything else is just noise. That's what I've learned, like, especially with all these trolls and stuff. You just keep doing you. Keep offending people. If that offends people, then let it offend them. Let it trigger them. Let them do what they need to do. It's nothing about you. Just carry on your journey. Just carry on. Do you?
And do you think, because one of the questions was, there's only one, but I think it's a good one, because you just hinted at, do you think social media is a good or bad place for this whole self-growth industry which you're now in?
I feel like it's good for it depends who you're following and who's following you. Like, it all depends on, like, I love social media because of the people who I follow and the pages that inspire me, and it all depends on, like, who you're following. If you've got people on your page who are out pissed every weekend and whatnot, then they're not motivating you, are you? So I don't feel like it's good. It depends. It all just depends on how you use it and how you use your own platform. And another thing, what I think, people who are on plan or on a fitness journey, I feel like you should document it all. I feel like you should make your page about inspiring others, because 100%. I feel like that kept me going from the start. I know I was so rubbish at it at the beginning, and I was only posting for myself, but the amount of people who I've inspired through that, which I never would have dreamed of, like 2 years ago, no way. And I was so unfit and I was so embarrassed to post stuff, but then here I am now motivating others. And you doing that, you might only have 60 followers, but I bet, what if you inspire 2 of them people? And it keeps you going.
I said this to people, because if people knew the famous people who DM me after following you, and we joke, I'll send her a Czechoslovakian supermodel who's got 1 million followers, and she'd be like, I want to look like Nadine, and she's like, she just followed me, and I'm like, it's wild, because some of them are wildly famous, more than a lot of you would ever know. And knowing that those eyes are on you, and knowing that's the power of social media, would you say, because I always tell people, I'm like, people say you don't follow many people, I'm like, on purpose, and I don't look at many pages, and I sometimes get drawn into way too many battles, but that's the sick side of me that likes that part of it. If you ever met my dad, you know I grew up battling. Do you think then that it's very much about the diet you ingest on social media as well? Don't follow anyone that's toxic. Don't follow people you think.
Your diet. I think your diet's not just what you eat. It's like what you read, what you listen to. It's just a bit of everything.
Because we love a good quote reel, don't we?
Yeah. Literally.
And do you think it's important to? Because people go, oh, another reel. I'm like, I watch. God, you send me dozens. My friends send me dozens. My best friend Chris sends me dozens. One of my other best mates, George, we also. Do you think that's important that you take in as much positivity as you can?
Literally absorb like a sponge. Well, we do, don't we? So if you've got people around you negative, you're going to absorb that.
100%.
And then get around positive people, get around people who've got the same interests as you, and just basically absorb everying.
One of the main parts of our new app, big plug to my day one app that's coming out in the next couple of months still, is we're building a community, and someone actually messaged me about you today and said I can't wait to watch her podcast and join the community. And I believe that when you're doing this, regardless of how supportive your husband is or your family or who fit shames you, who doesn't stand, get around people who are on your journey or have done your journey.
100%.
Follow Nadine. DM people.
Like I still follow as many people as I can what inspire me. Like I'm inspired daily by God, so many people. And I just think it's massive that you are around people who are.
And do you protect that time and protect who you follow and protect who you're around? Would you be scared of cutting people dead?
No, not anymore. goodbye. If you're not bringing me peace, see you later.
Yeah.
Like,
Massive.
I'm not. I've learned. I think I've learned over these last couple of months. Like, you're on your own journey, and if people come into your life and stay, then they're meant to be there. And if they're not, then they're gone, and just let them go. I feel like that's been like, I've learned that over the last couple of months, and I just let people come in and go out accordingly.
And do you think that a lot of people here should do that and have like a it's not Central Alt Delete I can't remember Microsoft systems, but do you think people could have a purge and it would do them good? Because one thing I wanted to talk to you about is fit shaming, and a lot of people tell me it's friends of theirs. I went to dinner and my friend's wife or my mother-in-law, and I'm like, get the fuck rid.
Yeah, but some people can't, can they? Like, and a lot of people, people please, and I feel like you're drawing in the wrong type of people by people pleasing, because
100%.
you're trying to be somebody else. You can't be yourself, so you're not going to draw to you the people that should be in your life, if you get what I mean. I have so many people messaging me in the comment box like, how do I stop people pleasing, how do I stop this? Well, for one, you just stop people pleasing and do you. But a lot of people are like scared to be themselves. I don't know why, and because a lot of people don't like themselves.
100%.
And that
100. They don't know who to be.
No.
Someone said to me the other day about, because obviously I battle more on your pictures than anywhere, and for those that listen, I like doing it, so I won't stop. Just ignore block. It's not fun. And people say, and someone said, oh, you're not professional and people don't follow you. I said, well, funny enough, everyone who follows me knows this is authentically me, and that's why they hit the follow. And if they don't like it, they don't have to follow, and I don't care.
No, like I must not like myself, because I'm only just now, like this last year, coming out my shell and like being 100% like myself. Before then I wasn't. Like, I used to people please, used to do anything really that to keep my friends and just stuff like that, and now like I'm not arsed, really not arsed.
And do you find that more of a responsibility? Because obviously lots of people want to be your friends now. Lots of people probably want to train with you, and people will listen to this, and I no doubt your following will go up and things. Do you find that makes you... Because I said to someone the other day, I must know millions more people than I did originally, and I have far less friends now than I ever did.
Yeah, I have a little close circle made. That
Crazy,
is it.
isn't it?
A tiny circle, but
funny.
then I've got like so many like people. Like our class, so many people on Instagram as my friends, just because I've never seen them or
nuts,
whatever. Like, wow, still all my friends. We still check in with each other daily and stuff like that. Like, people who've never met before, but my circle is tight and it's small. Like, I don't let any of my energy out of that circle, really. And
do you find that, and I said this the other day, I've become close friends with people and clients because they've been more supportive. And I will say this, and if people watching it gets your butt hurt, I went through my Instagram followers the other day and actually went, when was the last time I saw you like or share a picture, like or share a post, regardless of how successful I think the brand is or not.
Yeah.
And I was looking at there's an app you can get, I'll find the name, where you can check who's liked most of your pictures, and the top 200 people, and we went, I'm autistic, I went deep dive, nearly 90% were people I've never met, don't know, but they're incessantly sharing, liking, commenting, apart from all of my ambassadors.
Yeah.
And I thought, isn't that funny that on these journeys, you lose a lot of people who you would have thought come close, and it's these strangers.
It is, yeah. I totally agree with that.
And a lot of them who've messaged me about you, and there's a lot of, people saying, tell her to keep going, she's my inspiration. I looked, and none of them are your friends that you follow. They're strangers who just appreciate what you are, whereas I think a lot of people probably take your energy for granted, and you get energy vampires, don't you?
Yeah.
Can I train with you? Can you sort me out a diet?
Yeah, no, I try and reserve my energy for myself, mate, and that's why I have to, every now and again, I have to switch off from social media and just have that downtime to myself to build my energy back up.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, because it's mad. I have to be on the button 24/7. I feel like I need to claw that energy back. So that's why I always have like little dips here and there to pull myself away, just to keep myself, to obviously fill myself up again. To feel like I give that much, pour that much out, and then.
And what will you do? What will you do to fill yourself back up? What's your, say today? Say you haven't put a picture up, got some trolls, felt a bit low. What will be your go-to?
No, just switch off. Just switch off from the world.
Nice.
Literally switch off. That's it. Kids, home, and just switch off. Like, I can switch off to it. That's the whole good thing. Like, I don't have to go and motivate people.
Yeah.
But because I know that I can, and I know that's why I don't stay off for so long either, because I know that there's people inboxing me like, when are you coming back? I've not seen you for a day, or I never went to the gym today because you didn't go. That's what pushes me back on, and that's what motivates me. So I know people say that I motivate them, but to be surprised how many people who I motivate me in mad ways.
I'd shudder to think what your DMs, what you've shown me. It's madness.
I don't even open them anymore.
And do you think, though, that would you have ever believed, because I tell a lot of people this, because obviously people say, oh, you've had all these famous clients and this is why you got the following. I said, it was wildly years before I got any of that. Do you think if you'd have looked back now, 3 years ago, you'd have ever dreamed you'd have been this person?
Yeah, I dreamed that I would be this person.
Because this is my next question. So, manifestation.
This is part of my
a dozen
goal.
Times.
Yeah, this is literally part of my goal. Like, I've got 2 more goals to smash, but I'm still in the middle of my journey. But this is exactly where I'm meant to be. Obviously, it's not happened the way that it was supposed to happen. But yeah, I knew that this was good. I knew that I was going to be here.
And is that an important part for you? Is Arnold Schwarzenegger talks about it, you know, when he was a goat herder in Austria, he said, I'm going to be the most famous actor in the world, most famous bodybuilder. I'm going to be American president. He was the governor of California, so it's close. And people went, what? But you told me 3 years ago you had these visions.
Yeah. I've written it down, and I still do every day on a piece of paper for the last 2-3 years. Setting goals, and I'm nearly smashed all of them, and then obviously I'll change them up. But there's one goal, what I wrote down like 2 years ago, and I've just nearly smashed it. So.
And do you think that is part of self-belief?
Oh yeah, 100%. I knew I was going to do it. I knew it. And I remember, like, me and Holly, we used to show each other our goals, and she's like, whoa, have you put that one? Because it was like a big goal. And I was like, yeah, and definitely I'll hit that, mate, in the next 2 years. And boom, we're nearly there. Because
I think I've spoken to people and they'll talk to me and they'll say, oh, I hope I...
You've got to tell yourself, like, if someone said to me, like, are you the best at this? Then I'll say, yeah, if I think I'm the best. And even if I don't, I'll talk myself that I am.
Because what I get is people go, oh, I'm going to a wedding on the weekend. I hope I don't eat the buffet. And I'm like, motherfucker, you control your hands and your mouth.
Yeah.
All you should have said was, I'm going there, I'm not going to eat the buffet. That's that.
Yeah, whole mindset thing.
And it's like that with success. I find people say, oh, I hope my brand as well. I'm like, yeah, I know hope is an eternal thing that a lot of people revolve around, but I'm going to smash this, my brand, because I've got better ideas. I'll work harder than the next person. And that's been you for 28 months, I worked out. It was nearly 3 years. Yeah. Is the fact that I've never seen you say, maybe this will work. Or like I said about the glutes, she was like, so how long have I got to do this? I was like, 6 to 8 months, and literally her reply was, oh, I thought you meant 2 years, but she was locked in for 2 years. That's 2026. She was already living in 2026 with a big ass.
Yeah, it was.
But that's what I tell people when people go, I hope I do well in 6 weeks. I'm like, that's such a small amount of time to have given any effort in. I do sometimes, and whether my background precludes me from empathizing, I shudder. I'm like, what, 42 days you weren't sure if you could lock in?
To be fair though, at the beginning when I started, I didn't realise, like, I thought you just lost weight dead quick. Like, when I got on plan, I lost weight fast. But, you know, when you, like, see a change in yourself, I was expecting to go from me to supermodel really, really quick. I'll be honest, I thought, no, I'll smash that in 6 weeks or whatever. But then the reality hits, like, no matter how fast, because lost weight fast, didn't I?
Yeah, big time.
And I honestly didn't realise the work and the effort, what goes into it. Like, I did genuinely think 6 weeks, yeah, I look like it. I look like that Victoria's Secret model 6 weeks on Scott's Plan, no problem. But you don't realise, like,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? So I think some people who are coming into it are going to think that, because they've got no knowledge of it, and that's what you're there for. You're there to give them the knowledge and just to push them, because I don't think
listen.
I don't think you could lose weight any quicker doing it your way. Like, people are like lose mad amounts of weight so quick. They change week from week, and that's what I love about your plan, because every week you're seeing a change, and that is your motivation for the next week. And that's why you have to go, like, full in, because the weeks where I didn't put 100% in, I hardly changed. That's when my motivation will start to dip. Whereas if you can see that mad change week in, week out, you're pushing yourself, yes, I can do better next week, yes, I can do better next week. But some people just don't do that. They'll get so far and think, fuck it, fall off wagon, and go back to the beginning.
But the one thing I like about you, is people don't know, is you were always honest with effort. And I had a client this morning, no names, and I could see she's got a lot of weight to lose, enough that the loss she gave was nearly impossible. And she went, oh, I hate when my body fights back at me. And I went, okay, just for a second, have you done this, 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 and this? And she basically wrote me a list of things she hadn't done. And I went, so is it more that you haven't put any effort in than your body fought back? And she kind of went, yeah. And that's the bit I tell a lot of people that Nadine, Jess now, Alana and everyone didn't ever do, is if they had a shit week, didn't do the steps, didn't drink the water, they were like, this hasn't gone 100%, and that's why the result isn't that way. And that's one thing that's vital, is you've always been so realistic.
Yeah, I have. And I'll always tell you. I always told you, like, if I had any slips or anything, I always told you, because obviously how I'm meant to work out where I've gone wrong to change it, if you know what I mean. But I never had slips, only the first couple of weeks, wasn't it?
And that's the thing. And I said to people, someone asked me on one of the question boxes and said, is it really been 100%? And I said, there's one thing I won't ever do, is say when clients are, for instance, Bella, she never slipped from the day she started till the day she finished, and that's okay. And there's been people who've slipped day one wildly, but for 2.5 years, I say to people, if you think the result is wild, you should track it for those 2.5 years.
I don't think I've come that far until someone will say, look back. And I
Photoshopped.
always have to look back.
People think you've had tummy tuck.
Yeah, I always have to look back. Like, when I do my check-ins with you, I still got loads of insecurities because I'm not where I want to be. And then I have to literally compare myself to where I've come from. Like, from like, say 6 weeks before or 8 weeks before. Because I feel like you need to look back and see how far you've come.
And I say to people, while being a mum, running businesses, this isn't you're not a PT living in the mums doing 20,000 steps a day. You're on the go 7 days a week. Yeah. And I say to people, that's why I give total credit to mums out there who've got their own businesses, who do things, not saying that you're better than anybody else. It's just not been just followed a diet, did my training. And your ADHD makes it harder.
I don't think it does. Think it's my superpower.
Do you think? So, talk about that quickly.
It is. It's a superpower. If I didn't have ADHD, I would not be locked in. Once I tell myself I'm doing something, I'm doing it. And it's me ADHD.
And you're not medicated, are you?
No.
Just with everything else?
I could have had medication, but it just wouldn't work for me. Like, I've got it under control. I know what I'm doing with it. I know how to use it as a superpower. Like, I know that if I really want to put my mind to something, like with 28, I knew that if I wanted to find a supplier or whatever, that I would do it, like, because I don't know, like, once I'm locked in something, I can go full focus me for days using my ADHD, and I use that as my power.
And do you think, because I get a lot of people say, I can't do it because I've got ADHD.
Yeah, no, it works both ways. Like, if I have to do something that I don't want to do, then
cinema, films,
then I can't for ADHD reasons. But if it's something that then I can full on focus. Yeah, it's my actual superpower. I wouldn't be where I was now if I didn't have it. No way.
Really?
No. 100%.
So what would you say to other people with ADHD out there?
Find your superpower and get your cape on.
But they will be looking for reasons why they can't do it, and you're telling them to find the things you can do.
Just look for the things, what you're good at, what you enjoy, and if you put 100% in and put your effort in, you will smash it. I don't care anyone who's got ADHD. If you love something enough, you've got this super focus. You've got this advantage over other people, where you can literally super focus on something for X amount of time. So if you really love something, get stuck in. You can take over the world.
So
I reckon.
What's next for 28? Because a lot of people have asked that.
Oh God, I don't really want to say.
What is the goal?
What's the goal?
What is the goal? Even if you don't really give anything away, it's just, is it? Because actually, one of the questions was, I wanted to ask you this. Someone said, have you ever thought about going out into mainstream fashion, not just gym wear, because you have an eye for clothes?
No. Only reason
29.
being... No, only reason being I don't want to go into normal fashion is I just think fashion changes, like... going out clothes and stuff like that, they change from week to week and whatnot. Like I want a brand what is sustainable, what people can buy and have these pieces, like these quality pieces, and keep them in the wardrobe like the staples, rather than just buying a dress and wearing it for one night out or whatever. And I feel like fashion's changing so fast, whereas I just want to stick to, and I feel like the sport side, it needs a fucking revamp anyway.
Jesus,
like,
it does.
Like Nike is still all the same. Everything's just gone boring. Like there is a few brands out there, don't get me wrong, but it
You're
needs
a fan of that Skims?
Yeah, I like Skim stuff, but they don't do like gym wear.
No, they don't.
But their material's really good.
I think, did Stella McCartney do one with Adidas that looked quite funky
like,
once? But it was like fucking astronomical prices.
Yeah, they're the like type of people. Like Victoria Beckham, she does Reebok. She does collab with them. Then Stella McCartney, I love P Nation. They was all like my inspirations, and they still are now, because obviously I think
there was some sick stuff, the Stella stuff.
Yeah, I think keep them your idol, make your idols.
Your rivals.
Your rivals.
So
Yeah.
is that where you want 28 to go global?
Oh yeah,
even though it is
will.
technically, but
yeah,
and that's what I mean, people. You know that. How long's it been?
I've not set a massive goal for 28 yet. I just want to see it roll out. I've set a few little ones and smashing a few of them, but I've not like opened it up to like really sit and write some proper big goals, if you know what I mean. Whereas I have with my other brands, all my other brands have got so many years goals on them. This hasn't so much.
On purpose?
Well, yeah, because it's just moving at such a fast pace. Like I feel like my brain can't write down something big enough to where I want it to be. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Like the capacity's not there yet. Like, and when it is, I'll throw it down on paper. But I feel like it's moving faster than what.
It is quite overwhelming, the growth, because I know the growth. You don't know the growth yet, but it's crazy. How long has it been? When I should know, but I don't.
So 5 or 6, I bet it's about 6 months now, 7 months. We only started at the end of like November.
Honestly, if you knew where I was going.
Yeah, like,
but I told this to you when you told me. I'm not surprised, because the effort you put in is exactly directly proportional to where it's gone.
Yeah.
Can't make that much effort in anything. I've said to people, you cannot make 100% effort in anything and it not go very far.
No. And we're doing a collab, aren't we?
We are. That's the first thing. We are. I've been asked to do merch for years, and I'm shit with fashion, and it just ties up well. And everybody said to me, and it was funny enough, I did a Q&A box a few months ago, and a few of my clients from Dubai said, why didn't you get Nadine to make some merch for you? And I thought, well, what would be better than doing a collab together? And if you see it, it's wild. She's so talented.
It is actually
wild.
mega, to be fair, and I'm so jealous that it's not my collection.
Well, it is, but
yeah,
you know.
But the samples are here anyway next week.
So I can't wait to launch that.
By the time this pod goes on, the sample they'll be in production.
So Carl, you've got to do this super quick, because everyone thought this was a live podcast, by the way. I don't know if anyone knows a live podcast out there yet, but we will get this out as quick as we can.
I'll beat your production.
Oh,
I'll pay extra to get this out. So the final question coming in, which, and by the way, I did ask earlier, does Nadine want any kids? Any more kids?
No,
That's
I'm done.
In fact, let me just flick a couple of odd questions. What do you prefer doing, cardio more or weights?
I like mixing it up. I love cardio. I love running, just for the simple fact that it proper mental, like the mental side.
You do love that.
But then I feel like my body looks well better when I do weight training. So it's just a mix.
What's another one? Here we go. I think we touched on this, but not in the sense she said this. So with my mum life, I feel like I need more sleep. Do you think I need more sleep? Now, she doesn't say how much sleep, but I'm assuming because you only get 6 hours. And I've said this to people. I sleep about 5-6 hours like Nadine. We're kind of up at the same times. And I've said to people, I just have learned to live my life on that much sleep. Yeah. How do you cope?
No, like on a Sunday I can have a line if I want, but bang, I'm still up at that time. And it's just, I've just got used to it now. I mean, don't get me wrong, if I have a really late night, I could be a bit burned out and need a bit more of a lie-in on a Sunday, but you're in that routine. I think once you're in it.
And how many days a week do you train?
7.
7.
Yeah.
And you love to train, don't you?
I can't have a day off. It's my routine. It's not. I'm not going to the gym to train, and it's just genuinely routine. Like,
it definitely. One thing I will say about you, and there's a few, it definitely fires you up for the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm so sluggish. If I get up in the morning and I've not been in the gym, Adam will say to me, "God, have you not been in the gym?" Because you can just tell the difference in me straight away.
What's your favourite exercise with the weights?
Just anything to do with my bum now, because I know that it's getting me where I want to be.
Yeah.
And I'm just loving just trying to push myself as hard as I can. But anything goes with me in the gym. Absolutely anything.
Here's one. I definitely feel you have the following now to launch your own fake tan brand. Ever thought of adding this to the empire?
I'm actually doing a collab for that with one of my favourite brands already.
You've heard it here first. It's funny. What has been the biggest challenge for you over the last 3 years? What one thing can you single out was the hardest?
The whole mental shift from the old person what I was into the new person. That was a biggie for me. That was the hardest part.
Yeah, I think some people don't realise that whether it be business, social, boyfriend, girlfriend, losing weight, that will come with a massive mentality shift, and you've got to be ready for it.
And it nearly broke me, I'll be honest.
Isn't it? I went through the same thing.
I could have nearly broke a good few times.
Here we go. How did you tighten your skin on your tummy? Did you use any products?
No, I still don't think it's 100% tight. I just literally leather it in cream. I just moisturise constantly day and night and just hope for the best. But I think it's just be consistent, and your skin will tighten.
No, she hasn't. Do you know enough people who follow me as well have asked where and when she had her tummy tuck, and she's not had any surgery.
No,
and I won't actually let anyone with surgery go on without saying they've had surgery, because I think that's a huge no-no. One of the last ones. What's some advice you would give to someone trying to lose weight in 25 days before their wedding? Start sooner. But what advice would you give them? Don't eat.
To what? Yeah,
Literally,
just stitch your mouth up, because that's the only thing you can do.
Jesus.
Just drink plenty of water. If you feel hungry, drink water.
How much water do you drink a day? 4 litres plus 5?
4 and 2 proteins, so about 5 litres.
Yeah, 5 litres, yeah. Here's one. What do you eat before you train? When you train in the morning, I'm always so hungry. And your answer is the same as mine.
What do we do?
What do you What do you eat or drink before you train in the morning? I'm always so hungry.
I just have a pre-workout and then nothing. Then I'll have a clear way about 9 o'clock. Then nothing till 11.
Yeah, I don't. I know you may be hungry when you wake up, but I put half a litre of water in before my pre-workout, and once I get to the gym, I'm not hungry anymore.
Yeah, no.
I get it. It's a mental thing, isn't it? People, they need food.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here's 2 good ones. Then. What is the favourite part of your body, if any? If any.
Probably say my legs.
Your legs, because a lot of people have said how to get legs more lean. She has amazing legs. Look at those pins.
I like every part of my body except for my bum area up to my belly button. That's the middle. That's the area what I'm working on now. But everything else I'm sound with.
Yeah, I think that's a post-pregnancy thing. I think that's the area which most does affect.
It's my hips. I feel like this is me judging myself.
Look at the pictures.
This is me judging myself. I've got no hips, so my legs and body are the same shape. Feels square. So I'm working on that shape.
And to close out, what do you do to relax? What is your downtime, if any? Actually, is probably going to be the answer. What do you do to relax?
I just chill. I'm constantly chilling, Meg. You know, people think that I'm on the go 24/7, which I am, but I don't. Just chill. Just go to bed. I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know what I think it is?
I don't watch telly and all like that. No. Never watched telly.
ADHD brain.
I've not watched telly for about 6 years.
You watch a lot of YouTube podcasts and things like that, don't you? You learn a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I do learn a lot.
Yeah. So to close out, what is one thing you would say to people that you've most enjoyed about motivating people and being this person who's had this crazy journey? Because I think all the questions I think I've more or less scrolled to, I think we've hit the answers. So if your question wasn't exactly answered, you will find it in the 2 hours. What is the one thing you could say you could take away, which if someone was, this isn't a business plug because we do it enough every day. What is the one thing about this whole journey, whether it be starting 28, being a better mum, what one thing could you say that should make someone watch this on hopefully the weekend on Monday and go, I'm on it?
I think it's the whole starting the brand thing, because my first goal when I jumped on plan was I was doing it for the fashion, and obviously I didn't think about anything about it then, and then obviously where my brand's going now, just from me starting off working out. I'd never even dream that that would ever happen. Do you know what I mean? So that's the biggest part for me, and I feel like you don't know what's going to come of working on yourself, do you?
I think that's a bigger answer, is the fact that if you work on yourself, you don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like as well, I feel like you need to work on yourself. Like, if you're unsure where your life's going or whatever, work on yourself. The more you work on yourself, the more it opens you up to bring things into you, like for opportunities and stuff. Genuinely believe that.
I think that is probably the perfect place to end. Thank you very much for coming on.